all of you out there. And welcome again to this broadcast of the Republic of Football. We're live on 97.3 City FM radio. We're also live on Channel 1 TV. Live on YouTube at City Sports GH. And then on X or Twitter on City 973. Pick your platform. You can pick multiple platforms if you want. We don't mind. Benjamin and Kitty in the hot seat. The guys will be joining me in a bit. Nimson Amwa, I see you. J Kex says we are back. Yes, indeed. And there's a Premier League match happening. Before I get into the flesh of anything, Aston Villa and Arsenal are locked at 1-1. It's 76 minutes played. There's also a game involving AFC Bournemouth and Chelsea to come a little later. So I'll be getting to that. There's Manchester City versus Sunderland. Well, the big piece of news, obviously, is that the World Cup draw has been concluded. Ghana has found out exactly how it's going to go down as far as the tournament is concerned. Group L. England, Croatia, Panama. Been very interesting listening to the debate yesterday on how Ghana will perform, what we will do, who deserves this and who deserves that. One of the things that I found really funny is that most Ghanaians immediately zoned in and said Panama is the beatable team. Panama is Ghana's sure money 3 points. And then I was checking out some social media action. They also were saying basically that Panama is looking at Ghana as their sure 3 points. You know, they also think that they are or we are their stepping stone to getting out of the group. I found that really funny. But I mean, tell me what you think. Let's get into the Premier League zone as well. A lot happening in this game. It's 11 minutes to be played in regular time. Arsenal are really not dominating this game the way they would have preferred. It's been a very rocky game for them for most part, so I'll be getting to the details in a bit. Yes, so that's the little bit on the World Cup. We'll get into it. We'll get into some details on it a little later on in the show. But like I said, Villa and Arsenal are currently locked at 1-1. AFC Bournemouth and Chelsea is to come at 3 p.m. There's also Everton Football Club versus Nottingham Forest. And then we have Manchester City versus Sunderland at the Etihad. It's a game I believe will be very, very tricky. There's Newcastle versus Burnley. Tottenham Hotspur take on Brentford. And then you have Leeds United versus Liverpool. Game that should be tasty. Let me give you a quick update from the Italian Serie A. Sassuolo Fiorentina happening. Fiorentina have scored right now in the 10th minute. I believe the goal just came. Mondragora, I want to believe, is the goal scorer. So that's 1-0 over there. There's Getafe traveling to play Villarreal at the Ceramica. It's 1-0 in that game also. You have a goal from Tajon Buchanan. I believe he's Canadian. Came from, he's been around Club Brugge, played with a couple other teams. Tajon Buchanan plays for Villarreal these days. So this is a game in which I am hoping to see Ghana's Thomas Partey if possible. If you look at the benches for both players, especially for Villarreal, I don't see him on the bench. Interesting. But let me get some other. Okay, so he's injured according to the report. Thomas Partey not feeling too well, so an injury there. More guys coming up on YouTube. Shout outs to the YouTube community. Hit the like and subscribe button as soon as you check in. El Cid Josiah, regular shout outs to you. This one here also from Ruben Shakes, I think the name is. I hope I got it right. And then also Kwame 357. Kwame 357 can be a very stubborn guy. More guys in the mix there. So let me bring Manuel Kwache into the conversation. Quick thoughts. Arsenal heading towards a draw unless they can salvage something out of this game. Quick thoughts on this one.
It's been an interesting game so far. But in terms of Arsenal, like you said, it looks like another big game has come up, and it looks like they haven't been able to come out with a result. And I think it's starting to look like a pattern somehow. I think because they lost to Liverpool, they've drawn with Man City, they drew with Chelsea, and now they're about to draw with Aston Villa, or Aston Villa third. Obviously, I think they have such a commanding lead at the top of the table now that they can afford to, in terms of a league sense, if they hold the people they are going to competing with for the league to a draw, that means at least the point advantage doesn't gain for them. If that makes sense. So even if they draw against these teams and win all the other games where the other teams are slipping up, because if you look at teams like Chelsea has
Manchester City play Sunderland in a bit. If they win, they go to 31 points. That's just 3 points under Arsenal. I don't know how that's the daylight. That is not daylight.
It's not the problem with them, like I said, the people who keep chasing them keep slipping up.
Well, they are slipping up right now. This is what slipping up looks like. Oh, am I lying?
I mean, this is a tough game coming up against Unai Emery in the league, because Emery has the history with Arsenal. I think he always takes the games against Arsenal a little personal. I think he feels he was never given enough time, because I feel if he had been given the time Arteta has been able to get right now since he's been at Arsenal, I feel like he would be able to. He would argue that he would have been able to bring success where he's been, because the only spell of his that you would say wasn't as successful was probably PSG. And that's just because they expect to win the league every season, and they lost the league one season to a generational Monaco team with Kylian Mbappe and Bernardo Silva. So just in terms of that, I think he always takes the games against Arsenal a little more personal. I think it's also important to note that Arsenal without a substantial part of their main defense. So with the injury to Timber, Saliba and Mosquera, it's interesting to see how he's been able to balance it out. Obviously, that should not attack them going forward. But if you look from the start of the season, their biggest, for even a large point of the season, their biggest, not threat, but their biggest attribute was that they were not conceding goals. And now they seem to at least concede one a game. They conceded one against Spurs. They conceded against Brentford. And now they've conceded against us. I'm sorry, not against Brentford. But they've conceded against Aston Villa as well. So it's showing that, I don't know, because I don't know if it's the injuries or because he's had to shake up his defense, but it's not looking as solid as it looked at the start of the season.
Arsenal not looking as solid as they would have wanted. Still a lot to play for. 5 minutes of regulation time left and then some. So we don't know how much time Adadon will be put into this, but still a lot of time to be played. So I'm sure somebody, I want a plot twist. Let's get some drama in this game. Let's see which way
if there's a
drama
plot
swings.
twist, I'm hoping Aston Villa can come away with an unlikely home win. Just like I said, just to make the league interesting, because I don't trust the chasing pack to be consistent. And if that happens, the only way you can keep Arsenal at arm's length is probably for them to start dropping points themselves, which looked unlikely at the start of the season. I mean, in the parts of the season where they were having that really good run. But I think, it's football, like you said. I think Pep made the point very well when he said you can't win the league in November, but you can lose it. And looking at Arsenal, I think even though they have such a commanding lead, that also comes now with the expectation, with everybody saying that, they should. People are already saying that they should have walked the league already, that they've already won the league. I don't think this was the 14th game week of the season.
Game week 15 for them.
Game week 15 for them. So, yeah, the league isn't done yet, but it's still a solid performance. If they can avoid defeat again, I think they can see positives from that.
Well, they should hope that they can get something out of this game, because so far, like I said, you keep saying they have a commanding lead. I keep telling you that if they draw this game and Manchester City win, the lead is down to 3. So I'm not sure how that is commanding, but we'll see about that. And then Manchester City, I will go through the run of fixtures.
The main thing is about Man City themselves. Like, they've put on some very shocking performances this season. Like in the Champions
Sunderland
League,
can definitely rattle them today. It's not a sure game, but I'm just saying.
I get it's not sealed. It's not sealed and delivered. I get that Arsenal are nowhere near.
Aston Villa have their tails up. Actually, they look like they want to actually give this a go and make things happen. Anyway, let me introduce Shiny Brother 2, aka Jamita, into the conversation. Quick thoughts. Like I said, Arsenal look like they are stumbling again, unless they can salvage a win out of this. What looked like a big gap at some point early in the season has almost whittled down to nothing. I don't know. Do they have the temperament and manpower to ride out this period? Because they have a couple of guys out with injuries, and their backup that they spent a lot of money on, or a decent chunk of their money on, have been called to step up. So thoughts on that?
Oh, well, I think it's down to a situation where you have to maintain your top level form, and that is very difficult to do. It's just a few teams that are able to maintain their top form throughout the entire season, entire campaign. At some point, you will drop points. And maybe this is Arsenal's period for them to not necessarily lose, but drop points, as in fall off by drawing some games. And we've seen teams in past years go through that experience. Liverpool under Jurgen Klopp, I think on 2 occasions, it happened where they were brilliant for the entire season, but just a few blips here and there, ended up drawing some games here and there, and the next thing you know, they lose the league by a point. So this time around, it's likely to happen. Looking at how the teams have shuffled together, it's not a situation where we'll have what happened last season, where Liverpool were runaway leaders, even though they faltered close to the end of last season, but they had a significant gap because the rest of the chasing pack, they just weren't good enough. So this time around, the chasing pack is good enough, because Aston Villa, after a very slow start, have picked up form very well. Man City, as inconsistent as they are and have been this season, they are still there. For some strange reason, they are still there.
That's what I was saying. Look, and I always say that's the difference in standards. When we say Man City are struggling, they are some way, somehow, they are like 90 minutes away from 3 points within Arsenal. Yes. When Arsenal have been elite, they are still not out the window.
Because
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, brilliant points, context, and the standard. Man City have been good for a very long time, and so even if there's a sliver of
So it's 4 minutes of time added on. We are into time added on.
Even if there's a sliver of drop off, it's escalated. As it's seen as a huge thing. But with Arsenal, yes, they came in from, I wouldn't say from, maybe from the bottom for their standards. They came from the bottom at the time when Arteta took over, and he's brought them this far. And so we tend to give them some bit of grace in that respect. And this time around, looking at how they built their team, the depth.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even look at it from this angle of they missing a couple of players, because they built the team so much so well that even if one or two
their
players
backup options are starting level caliber players.
Their backup options are good players, because
Mosquera will start for a lot of Premier League teams.
Let's say their DM Declan Rice gets injured. It's Christian Norgard who will come in for him. Christian Norgard was starting for Brentford. He was starting for Brentford, and
he's considered a Premier League starting caliber level
Premier
DM.
League starting caliber DM. And the only question would be, okay, but is he of Arsenal standard? That would be the only.
Well, they bought him, so clearly he is of their standard.
Yeah. So. But you know,
at least maybe backup standard. If I can put it that way.
but not necessarily starting caliber standard. And so maybe that's where the argument will come in. But with us now, I don't see this as too much of a major issue. If, let's say, they draw this game and Man City win and they are 3 points behind them, you can have a situation where Man City can be breathing down your neck for the rest of the campaign with just 3 points for them to be able to level up. It's all down to the leader, the team that is leading, to be able to just keep on holding them off. Once you keep on holding them off, it wouldn't be too much of a problem. The only reason why this has come up is because there's a big question mark as to whether Arsenal can do it, because so far under Arteta, they haven't necessarily been able to do it, and that is the hurdle that they need to scale. And that's why we are coming up with.
They have a tricky run of fixtures coming. I wouldn't call them difficult, but they have a tricky run of fixtures coming right from now through the Christmas break till about New Year. So if you look at the fixture list for them, so their next game is against Club Brugge, so I don't even want to put that in. I'm just talking about Premier League. So Wolves should be a fairly routine affair. I don't expect it to be complicated. It's at the Emirates. Then they have Everton away, Crystal Palace at home, Brighton a day after New Year's, a day after Boxing Day, and then Aston Villa again on the 30th. Then they go to Bournemouth, Liverpool, Forest. Complicated run of fixtures.
I mean, it's a difficult run of fixtures for them.
Crystal Palace home.
Then there's Brighton.
I think they will take care of Brighton. I don't have any problem.
And it's a home game.
Arsenal
and it's a home game for them as well.
We'll beat Arsenal. I don't have any qualms about it. But it's the Everton away. Yes, and Crystal Palace home.
Wow. So Aston Villa are throwing bodies everywhere in an attempt to get, and that is the winner. That is the winner. We saw it coming. There was a mad scrap in the penalty box. Bodies were flying, legs were flying everywhere, and Villa have scored in what looks like the final second of the game. It was literally 90 plus 4. It was time up. Aston Villa, oh my goodness, what drama. Emiliano Buendia, the Argentine international, with what looks like the winner for Aston Villa. Unai Emery must be going crackers on the touchline. Look at him right there. He loves beating Arsenal. He was firing up his team right throughout the final 10 minutes of the game, and you could tell that this means a lot to them. Crazy goal.
I think he still holds a grudge against Arsenal for letting him go midway through his second season. And I think they were a bit harsh because his first season.
Look at it again, so you get to see it.
Final.
Marlon had it on the corner. He put it in, and then they put it across, and I think that Sancho got across her head.
So they saved this one first time. Went back.
Just chaos back and forth. Put your foot through it.
He was just waiting for
it's crazy how the ball. He started everything in the box, and then he waited, and it came back to him.
Just do something. Just keep the
ball alive. Yep.
Keep it alive.
Yep.
Keep the chance alive. Keep
Yep.
the ball alive. And they kept going at it. And
Wow.
honestly, forget about they losing in the final minute.
Mm-hmm.
It's about how they lost in the final minute. Arteta's Arsenal is built on what defense,
Mm-hmm.
and this goal that they scored, it looked like it was Man United playing. Man United, you know how they struggle to clear their lines. The ball, they attempt to clear it. It hits someone. The ball still stays in the penalty box, and it's just bungling all over the place. And
But
the next
if I
thing you
remember
know-
correctly, Arsenal conceded from a dead ball in their last game.
Yeah.
I think they did. I'm not sure what game it was. It was
They against Chelsea, they did.
They did.
Against
That's what I'm
Chelsea,
saying.
they
They
conceded from the corner.
conceded from a
when
dead ball.
Chalobah scored from
exactly what I'm saying. The flick header with the back of his head. So
And
it's
today's game, Matikash's goal, it came off a flicked header in an attempt to cross the ball, and it was a brilliant goal. Don't get me wrong, but the fact that they couldn't clear their lines, I think it will get Arteta really pissed, because for a team that is well known for its defensive play, you can't concede a goal like this. Let Man United concede a goal like this, because they have become pretty much well noted for it, because they seem not to be able to.
Why are you
clear their
using
lines.
this as a chance to take digs at Man United?
Yeah, because
like why
this
are
kind of goal
why are
was-
they catching stray bullets for
No.
Arsenal's poor
No,
defending?
because
I
this
mean, but
kind of
there's
goal,
your
they've
point now.
considered such goals.
Now, Aston Villa themselves are now 3 points behind.
That's what I'm saying.
And then
There-
City win. City go just.
There's no daylight anywhere. There's no big
Yeah,
gap.
so what?
There's
If
no
City
commanding.
wins, they go 2 points behind Arsenal. Yeah, well,
Sergeant
just-
Lee.
I mean,
It's
the
just
thing,
one of
just
those
looking at the
things.
table, the
Sergeant
thing
Lee
that
with a
worried me
comfortable
is,
lead.
if, like, realistically, if you're looking at the table now, it looks like Chelsea and Man City are probably going to be the title contenders. If you just look at the top 8, and
I
the
think
form,
Villa's
and-
laughing at you, but they started the season very poorly, and people already started calling for Unai Emery's head. Some way, somehow, he's within 3 points of the champions. Look, I think
Even
that
Monchi resigned.
yeah, I think on a good day, in a good season, all things moving unpredictably, they can mount a title challenge. I'm just saying, if they don't have the distraction of mainstream Europe, are they in the
yeah,
competition?
in the Europa League.
Yes. So, which he'll probably win. Yeah, probably win the Europa League, and then they
I mean,
can.
but-
I think they come out if they don't fall to too many injuries, and they have enough coins to bolster up their squad in the winter window. They can be funny. Aston Villa are an interesting team.
I mean, so last season I was making the point that they feel like they missed out because they lost on the last dates. That they were actually unlucky. I think they scored a goal that was disallowed, but against Man United on the final day, they weren't able to secure qualification for the Champions League. But if some way, somehow, like you were saying, because there's less distraction, he's in a Europa League, he's in a competition that's less intense. I don't know. Like, they are 3 points off the top, and if Arsenal are not the Arsenal from the start of the season, it's possible. But I feel like the other top teams that could actually more realistically pose a title challenge, Arsenal. That is Liverpool.
Liverpool.
At the
Please.
start.
Ah,
No, I'm saying that at the start of the season.
Ah.
Yes, all the teams that realistically could have posed a title challenge to Arsenal are not in the most consistent form. And I think now the ball's over to City. If they can also win against Sunderland, that's a difficult game for them.
Very.
And try and get back the I can't find a better way, but the aura that he had when Guardiola was winning 18, 19 games in a row. If he can now get teams to be fear playing Man City, especially with Haaland's form right now.
Yeah.
I think it could be a very interesting season.
Well, interesting season, but I'm checking out Villa's own fixtures. They have a rugged run coming. So they have West Ham next in the PL. Then they have a trip. They hold home against United. Then they travel to the Bridge. Then they have Arsenal. So they play United, Chelsea, Arsenal in back-to-back games. Like
To be
that.
fair, they did just beat Arsenal, so if they can repeat the trick.
Well, and then
United, I mean,
possible they can beat United.
Aston Villa have
Chelsea
been better than United
Chelsea
this
at the
season.
Bridge will be tough. But let's see how that goes. But that's our first game wrapped up 1-0. Arsenal, no 1-0, 2-1. Sorry, it looked like it was heading for a 1-1 draw, and then Emiliano Buendia off some really scrappy play in the box after a cross has been put in, managed to just bundle the ball in and give his team all 3 points. So important, yeah.
Yeah. Even though Arsenal won in midweek, I think this is the second weekend in a row that they've gone behind in a game and they've had to fight and chase a game. And for teams that, like we said, for teams that are contending for the title now, it's good it's good mental resilience to be able to at least come back. In this game, they weren't unlucky. They didn't play until the final whistle, but they conceded quite late. And I'm just wondering, like you said, where the slight shift is coming from. I think we can point at Arteta and his injury record, which I don't know.
How many players do they have out?
It keeps changing. I think that's the point. He never has, I made the point yesterday, he never has the same players. He never seems to be able to have all his squad fit at the same time. And at the start of the season, it was his front line. So Gyökeres got injured, Madueke got injured, Havertz got injured, but that was much earlier in the season. And then now it looks like it's going through his
So
defense.
right now he has Gabriel, Saliba, Havertz, and Mosquera all out with injuries.
I mean, it's Saliba and Gabriel that are key because Havertz.
Their absence.
Yeah,
Havertz has been gone, and
Yeah,
he's been a long term.
Yeah, and on top of that, even when he plays, it's not like he's super crucial. Mosquera is a new
Arteta was
addition.
speaking about Havertz. He said he misses like the special presence he has when he.
Oh, of course,
I'm worried about how.
I mean, you must be seen to back your player who's been out for a long time.
They paid 65 million for him.
It's either that or you say, well, the team has passed him by and he'll probably have to fight for his player. I'm not sure Havertz will be happy with that.
No, but him and Gabriel Jesus especially, I don't know how. At least from a starting terms, I don't know how they fit back into.
Is he fit now?
He started training.
They'll shop him very soon.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
in January,
they're looking for somebody to buy him. They're just waiting for him to be healthy enough to sell. They'll be shopping
I think
him
so. You
very
look
soon.
at the injuries. Yes, 2 key defenders missing. Yeah, it will affect every team. It would affect every team, no matter how good you are.
No, not even just 2 defenders. Literally the best defensive pair in Europe.
Yes, pretty
Literally.
much. And so it will affect you. It will affect you no matter how you cut it up, no matter how you look at it. It will affect you. And so those are the 2 key guys that are missing through injuries that you can use as a defense in the slippage in terms of the form from Arteta's men. But Mosquera is new. Yes, he's been okay, but it's not like he's an important, super important piece like Gabriel Magalhaes and William Saliba. And for Havertz, he's pretty
If I can
much.
ask, what about the form of Odegaard? Because unfortunately, they are.
I mean, he just came back from injury,
that's what
so
but you don't. He since I think 2 or 3 seasons ago, where he's been really good.
yeah.
I think he struggled a bit to hit that same level of form for Arsenal, and he's a captain. I don't know what impact that has on the team. Sometimes he's suffered a bit with injuries. I think this season he had one and then he recurred.
He's had like 3 injuries already. Shoulder twice, then the ankle injury, So yeah, I think if Odegaard isn't performing, I don't think it will affect the team because yes, if the captain has his influence on the team, that's true.
No, I mean creatively at least. Because I think Eze went off at halftime in this game. So once Eze isn't playing, it seems like they are now going back to being reliant on set pieces again, which is and they are not scoring as much from set pieces now. I don't know how much that accounts
I mean,
for.
people are watching tape and they are developing defensive schemes. We saw that last week with Chelsea. The way Chelsea played or defended the corner kicks, they will spread it out and have a situation where Arsenal cannot bunch a lot of players into the penalty box. And in that sense, once you space it out and there aren't enough numbers in the penalty box, your chances of winning the ball and scoring from those situations, they dwindle. And so teams are watching tape and developing their own forms or ways of dealing with the Arsenal threat from set pieces. So that has also been neutralized to an extent. Then you've lost your defenders, your key defenders also. And there's also that bit of, yes, Odegaard isn't stepping up, but you want a situation where Eze carries his form for a bit longer. We know he can be a bit patchy with his form and the way he plays. And so you want him to carry on.
In fact, for Eze, that's like the next level for him to go. We all know he has great technique. We all know he can create. We all know he can score. But can you hold the form for 15, 20 games
in a row,
or at least in a 20 game spell. Can you do it for 15 or 14 matches? That's what form looks like.
Yeah. I mean, with him in particular, somehow it seems like he plays better when he's more motivated. So maybe in Palace's isn't he? I don't know if that necessarily
big games.
I mean,
big games.
Motivation. No, it shouldn't be about big games this time around. It should be about the World Cup and the competition for places in his position. Because that should be the biggest motivation. Look, yes,
and I think you see that with Foden and Bellingham. And
yes, there's the club form. Then there's the club bits that you need to win laurels, help your team win laurels. But trust me, every player whose nation has qualified to the World Cup and is in a keen battle to make it to the squad, the way this England team has been set up, that is the biggest motivation. We've seen Phil Foden over the past 2 weeks.
Yeah,
we've seen how he's playing. He's clearly seen the picture. It's painted clear.
Realize that if he doesn't step up,
you go to US.
You can even see it in his celebration. And I don't know if you saw Grealish too this week when he got his goal. They are all.
You know the funny thing about the England squad is they've all become stars in their own right. That it's almost like everybody's nonchalant about, oh, do we get called up to the Three Lions or not? But they care.
Yeah,
and they really care about who gets invited.
Yeah, and so I saw Madueke doing an interview recently, and then at the end of the interview, he mentioned that they were asking him about Tuchel, and he said that he noticed that Tuchel was around. He spoke with him before the game, and he's going to try and see if he can catch him before he goes.
Don't catch him and see. Don't go and see if you can catch him.
And Tuchel too has been traveling around to see a lot of the players, and I think they all, in that way, they all feel like they have a chance of getting into the squad.
And the irony of that whole situation is one big player will get cut. At least one or two big players. Yeah. Like there'll be two shockers or one shocker.
Yeah, in midfield there will be two shockers. In defense there will be one shocker. Yes, that defense there will be one shocker, especially the central defense. There will be one shocker because Ezri might no go, John Stones might no go. One of those guys might not go because Maguire.
Konsa won't be a shocker to me. He's not really a star. He's a consistent feature.
But he's a consistent, exactly. And for England too, and for a guy like Maguire, he might also not go, and you might end up seeing Dan Ben go. You might end up seeing Dan Ben go. But you might end up not seeing John Stones in the squad or Ezri Konsa in the squad.
I think he'll probably call Joshua Champong too if he's looking at his options.
Fantastic.
I think he should.
I think that spot has already been taken by Jarrell Quansah, like a young up and coming defender.
Then Tommy Tactics is not serious.
Oh, but he called Jarrell Quansah.
He's been giving some plenty fans. The guy is not good.
Oh, but we saw him against. He's decent. Leverkusen's game against Man City in the Champions League.
You can have good. I mean,
he's patchy. He's like 2 good games, 1 average game. I definitely like. Look, I think Quansah is like a versatile piece. I like Achampong's qualities more for a centre back. Strong, tall, athletic, can progress, can pass. I don't know, man. I just like him better. Anyway.
He's strong. He's strong.
Yeah, very tall, very athletic guy.
He's not strong. I mean, that's what he needs to work on. 19 years.
Yeah,
he
has structure.
He's gangly. He needs to fill up.
He has structure. So
he needs to fill up his body. That's the next thing for him. Aside, maintaining that top level form, but physically, he needs to fill out. He needs to fill out his body because it's easy to brush him off. We've seen him play for Chelsea. It's easy to brush him off, and you are going to play. England is in the same group with Croatia and Ghana. Croatia, you know how physical they are. They bring that physicality. Ghana, up front, I don't think we are that physical. But in terms of speed, yes, we have it. And yes, they like contact. Jordan Ayew will get into you body wise. Antoine Semenyo, loves that physical scrap. Iñaki Williams, the same. And so, in that sense, if you are quite light in the upper body part, you might end up getting brushed off and losing some one-on-one duels. So, that's what he needs to step up. But I think that young up-and-coming defender spot, I think Jarrell Quansah has it now. As things stand.
A long time to go. Anyway, let's talk about the next game, which is between Manchester City and Sunderland. Big game, that is. Sunderland have made sure that their games have become much must watch this season. And ironically, they played a lot of big matches. For match week 15, they've played quite a number of big games with a number of the big teams already. So I'm sure this is nothing new to them. Lebris, who's their head coach, said something funny after the Liverpool game. He says that he was surprised by how much Liverpool allowed them to play and establish themselves. Like, he was very surprised. Anyway, funny. Getafe are down 2-0 to Villarreal. So there's that as well. But when we get into the Manchester City versus Sunderland lineups, let me get into it right now. Starting lineups are out. So Manchester City have Donnarumma in post, Matheus Nunes in that right back slot that he's been getting slotted at recently. Ruben Diaz, Vardiol, and Nico O'Reilly. They have Gonzalez, Bernardo Silva, Foden, Cherki, and Doku, and Erling Haaland, who's already cracked 100 goals in the 100 goals in the PL.
Yeah, 100 Premier League goals in 111 games.
Crazy.
So
Yeah, Erling Haaland is doing things.
I depends on how long he stays at City, but if he does, I think he'd definitely break in Shearer's record.
Oh, he will. Anyway, unless he decides to go to Real Madrid, which I think will probably happen.
But why not Barca?
Why would he go and play with Mbappe? So him
Why
and
would he
Mbappe,
not?
Vinicius in the same team.
Vinicius
I mean,
might
once
be
they jettison Vinicius,
Why?
there's a spot in there. And I think Mbappe will really love it
But I
because
mean,
he loves playing.
Mbappe wants to be
And
there for the long
they
haul.
trying to get Vini to sign a new contract. He's
But
the
he
one
wouldn't
who's
sign because of his
Dilly-dally.
issues with
Look,
Xabi
all
Alonso and the money.
I'm not saying this or that. I'm just saying that in football, things can happen very quickly.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Like, before you
But-
know, something's happening.
But per what we've seen so far, on and off the pitch,
Mm-hmm.
on camera, off camera, it looks like Vinicius Junior is on his way out.
I don't know who's going to pay him that kind of
but
money.
that's first of
Un-
all,
unless you're going to Saudi
unless
Arabia.
That's the point I was about to say. Unless he's going to Saudi Arabia, I don't know who can either
Yeah.
afford the wages he's looking for and
And you see,
And
his
on top of
brand,
that, he's falling out with a coach.
and his brand is not Ronaldo or Messi.
True.
He will disappear quickly if he goes to Saudi Arabia. So he should beware. Anyway, he's realized. Have you realized that none of the other guys, the other big stars in the golf, none of them get talked about. Milinkovic Savic went there, poof, fell off the football planet, like just like that. Ruben Neves, same thing.
Brozovic.
Went there, fell off the football. That's a good one. And then who is it? Roberto Firmino, Alance Maxima, like Karim Benzema.
Mahrez.
Too many.
Yeah, they are playing well, but like
Nobody's talking about you.
no,
Again,
yeah.
Sadio Mane,
Sadio Mane, he's playing very well.
Joao
But,
Felix.
still,
Joao Felix. Nobody's talking about you again.
but
when-
at that point, do they care?
When-
I mean,
no,
it's
no,
all
they
about the
don't.
money.
They don't.
Yeah.
Actually, but I'm saying that when you want to be taken seriously in some conversations, I mean,
Oh yeah, true. I get that
I
point.
see reports that Nunes is possibly looking for a move back. He's not enjoying his time in Saudi Darwin.
Oh. and Liverpool take him back.
Oh, I mean, no, I don't think. I don't think Liverpool. I think
know, I
Benfica.
You know, seeing
Benfica
that.
could work.
I think if he moves back to, let's say, Europe, mainstream Europe, he would either go to Portugal or go to a
Yeah,
Spanish
and Joao
club.
Felix was
Or go
talking
to a
about
Spanish club.
Joao Felix was talking about how he always wanted to go back to Benfica, but an offer.
Wait, are you
never
talking
came.
about Darwin Nunez?
Darwin Nunes?
Wait, Darwin is at Napoli, right?
No, he's at Al
No,
Hilal.
Al Hilal.
yeah.
Sorry.
Al Hilal.
No, but
Yeah.
I'm saying that. Wait, Darwin could come back to Liverpool. I'll take him at Liverpool. To be honest.
Yes, you will take him, but I don't think he will come back to Liverpool. I think he will go to either Portugal, where he did so well, or he'll go to a Spanish club.
Portugal, they can't pay him.
Well, I think he.
No,
would-
no,
I
no,
think. I
if
think.
you
I
go-
think
if
Italy.
If you go to Liverpool and go to the Gulf, you can't go to Portugal again.
Oh
They
no,
can't-
it's
they
not
can't
because
pay.
of the.
What?
I mean, you can negotiate a buyout, then you go sign
A more lucrative one-off deal.
a less lucrative deal
like
with
that-
one of the Portuguese or Spanish teams. You can work it.
I think someone like
Spanish teams
Tony's
got their
contract is like a guaranteed 100 million or something. So you make 100 million,
Yeah,
and
you're
then
done.
you
After that, you're
like,
done.
go back
Yeah,
and
the rest
enjoy
isn't
football.
guaranteed. So then you can make your move. You can seek a buyout and move.
We'll see how that goes. Let's talk about that Manchester City game and the lineup. Let's go to Sunderland. So Roofs is in post, lateral Gertruida. He'll also be looking to crash the party for the Netherlands when they go to the World Cup. Right fullback, I think they bought him from Feyenoord. Nodi Mukiele, Daniel Ballard has been having a stalwart of a season. And then there's Omar Alderete. Is Ballard English?
Yeah,
English,
checking.
Irish, Welsh, Scots.
I think
Northern
Northern
Irish.
Irish. I think he's Northern Irish.
It doesn't sound English. Yeah. And then there's Try Hume, Enzo Lefebvre, who's having a really good season. Noah Sadiki, Granit Xhaka, Bertrand Traore, and Wilson Isidore. Very unfamiliar.
That could also affect them. Sunderland, the AFCON. Because Sadiki, he's been called up to DR Congo.
Who else is going?
Bertrand Traore.
I mean, they have. I think they have a quite a number of players going for AFCON. Sunderland.
It will be quite interesting. They have quite a number of injuries as well.
Simon Adingra.
Yeah.
Simon Adingra is with Sunderland, so he's likely to go to the AFCON.
I'm surprised that Simon Adingra has not broken into this starting unit as well. Anyway, Brian Brome has been having a good season.
Yeah.
But yes.
Super sub.
Yeah, let's talk about this game. Our quick thoughts. Like I said, Manchester City, I think Pep likes to chase. But
at this point, that's the only way to get him motivated.
Just going there for Sunderland. Atamas Waku and Noah Sadiki are both going for DR Congo. Bertrand Traore, Talibi, Habib Diarra, Ronaldo for Mozambique, and then
Ronaldo. Yeah,
Ronaldo. That's seven players.
And then Simon Adingra.
Oh, come on, man!
You see,
7 players.
So that's where they will also be tested, as in the January period.
I want to believe they'll bring in a few bodies to try and shore it up.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know.
How they adapt would also be key.
Yeah,
because you are bringing them midway through tough season. Sunderland are on the good run. They are doing so well. People leave and people come in. Would they be instant impactors on the game? That's where the question lies. If they can, which is very rare, then all good. Then it means that Sunderland are looking at a place in Europe, at least the Conference League. If they can get people to replace those absentees during the AFCON period, and they hit the ground running, then they should be looking at a place in Europe. Champions League, I don't see them. Europa League, it will be a stretch, but Conference League
is
realistic. Yeah, very realistic. And so that's where the challenge will come in. And back to the Man City points that you raised, Pep Guardiola loves the chase. At this stage in his career, I think it's the evolution. At this stage in his career, what else can he say to this squad to get them motivated? And you know, Pep talks football a lot, like almost 24/7. So if you are, let's say, Phil Foden, you've been there from almost the start, the Pep Guardiola era. If you are, let's say, Bernardo Silva, you've seen it, you've heard everything. Where is the motivation coming from?
Silva has been trying to leave since forever.
Yeah. Josko Vadio has been there for a while.
Contract this summer, so
he's out of the contract.
I think you probably head to the MLS or head to Saudi.
Vadio has been there for a while. Haaland has been there for a while, at least 4 years.
Oh, Vadio, he just keep.
After the World Cup, 4 years. This is his 4th season.
That's
4th season
already.
Yeah. Haaland has been there for a while.
Ruben Diaz.
So they've heard everything. And what else can you say to them to get them motivated? Accept the chase. Just point to the top of the table. Arsenal. That's pretty much it. That's all the motivation they need. Especially a group that has won, that includes members that won 4 Premier League titles in a row. They set that record. They've won the Champions League, which was the holy grail that they were chasing. Or Nirvana. They were chasing that Nirvana. That was the Nirvana that they were chasing. And they got it. So getting them to be motivated like they were before, it will always be a challenge. And now you've given them the keys. Because of their inconsistent form, they will be motivated, because even in the face of their inconsistency, they are still second, and they know that yes, Arsenal is ahead of them, and looking at the rivalry between those two, that brings about the motivation.
And Manchester City midfielder Rodri and the group have talked trash about Arsenal's mentality
for a while
in the past.
For a while,
talking about how
stay humble.
Arsenal are not mentally strong enough to push through a barrier when they really need to. Talk to them about how they were celebrating a draw when they would have been pushing to get a win if it was them. So
Erling Haaland's interaction with Mikel Arteta, stay humble, all of those things. So yeah, that's where the motivation will come from.
a lot going on. Talks on the lineup.
I just to touch on Yao's point very quickly. Guardiola too has been speaking a lot about this. Like this part in particular is not unfamiliar to them. So they have been in title chases before, not title chases, but they've been in times where they get to December and maybe they are 4 or 5 points behind in the table, and they now have to go on a run of games to win it. So the most important thing for City at least is just staying in touch, just making sure that, like I said, they make sure that Arsenal do not they give Arsenal the chance to make a mistake. And like we've seen today, Arsenal are not always, they are not the sure thing that we they sometimes appear to be. For Man City, like I said, I think the most important thing for them right now seems to be the form of Phil Foden and Erling Haaland. They both seem to have picked up at a really important time of the season for them. And it looks like, I think, like Yao was saying, the extra motivation for the World Cup is a big factor. Like for someone like Haaland in particular, like his country isn't a country that usually goes to major tournaments, and some way somehow he's been able to put in an incredible run of form. He scored a lot of goals. I think he was in double figures.
Yeah, 16 goals in 8 qualification games.
16 goals
2 per game.
Yeah, so that's
more or less if you strike the average.
And that's, I think, with that kind of form, I think any team that can build around a striker that is averaging 2 goals a game, just try and get another extra goal. With a lot of averages, you should be winning more games. And it's also from MVP Phil Foden. He looks like he's doing the thing that we're talking about with Eze. He's not just showing it in parties. It looks like he's being able to show it over a consistent,
stepping up and winning games.
And just a quick one on the Man City bit. Yes, I see that Tijani Reinders is not in the starting lineup. I'm not too comfortable with that because you're playing against Sunderland, a very hard-working team, a team that will run around a lot, and especially when they hit the counter-attack. You need players that can recover. Yes, it's important to maintain possession, but you need players that can recover. In that sense, Reinders should be starting ahead of Bernardo Silva because he can keep possession and he aids the team when it comes to recovery, particularly on the counter-attack. Bernardo Silva is a non-factor in the latter part of my statement. He is a non-factor when it comes to the counter-attacking bit and defending bit. And so I'm a bit puzzled why Pep wouldn't start him alongside Nico Gonzalez in that midfield. I mean, you have enough creative players, Phil Foden, Ryan Sheki and Jeremy Doku playing behind Erling Haaland. That should be more than quality providers of service to Erling Haaland. And so you need to be able to strike that balance by getting top protection or better protection for Nico Gonzalez, and to a large extent the defensive line. So that's why the selection of Bernardo Silva in the starting lineup for me is a bit puzzling. It's a bit puzzling for me.
Well, we'll talk about them in a bit, but talk to me about Sunderland then. Who's impressed you the most in that mix? We've spoken about their contingent heading to the AFCON. Lebris, I think, has been phenomenal for them. But on top of players,
for me, it's the midfield. The two central midfielders, Sadiki and Jordan Henderson. Top 5, they've covered the most distance in the Premier League.
You mean Xhaka or Henderson?
Xhaka.
Granit
Xhaka.
Yeah.
Granit Xhaka. They've covered the most distance in the Premier League. They are top 5 in that ranking. A couple of weeks ago, they were number 1, and those two stand out for me. Those two guys stand out for me. I'll pick them as my pick. I'll pick them as the best players or the players that have impressed me the most when it comes to AFC Sunderland. I think those guys stand out for me. Yeah, the central midfielders.
Sunderland doing their thing so far. Got relegated a few seasons ago, came back with a bang, and look like they've learned their lessons. If you go down,
just on Sunderland, I think it's really key for them because they when they got into League One, they were stuck there for a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And there was
well-
this funny incident where they got promoted to the championship, and they were traveling to play a game away, and their fans were following them, and Newcastle fans were traveling in the opposite direction to a Premier League game. And you know that bad blood between Sunderland and Newcastle, and their paths crossed, and so Sunderland were heading to a championship match, and Newcastle were were heading towards a Premier League match. And yes, they exchanged a few words and all, and they were just mocking. The Newcastle fans were mocking the Sunderland fans that yes, we are going to a Premier League game. You guys are going to a championship venue. That's the level between you guys and us. And so yeah, now that they've come into the Premier League, yeah, definitely they've been able to learn a thing or two from their trips down low, and yeah, they are having a very good run, and I really like it. But like I said, those two guys in midfield, yeah, they jump out of the screen for me.
Let's go to Chelsea. They continue to confuse all of us, including their own fans. Meanwhile, for Manchester City, just quick thoughts. I just think that they played a really wild game in midweek with Fulham, 9-game thriller. Hopefully, it doesn't get that wild this time. But anyway, to Chelsea, their lineups are out as well against AFC Bournemouth. Chelsea are away from home in this game, so Petrovic is on post for them for AFC Bournemouth, and then you have Adrian Truffert, Senesi, Diakite, and Smith. It's a back four. Adam Scott is the holding mid. So Palmer and Neto and Dilap will lead the line. So very interesting lineup there by Monsieur Maresca. Let me start with you, Kwache. Thoughts on that Chelsea lineup, and then also touch on the AFC Bournemouth lineup.
For Chelsea, I think the most interesting thing to note would be the return of Cole Palmer. Maresca was talking earlier that he thinks maybe there's a way he can play Palmer and Estevao, but so far it looks like he's not been willing to take that risk, and I kind of get it just to maintain the balance. I think he really likes the physicality which James brings into midfield, and it gives him a different option. But with Caicedo out, I think that having James in there can almost sort of balance it out for them. I haven't been too impressed with some of the other signings. I think the lap has been at best.
I saw Chelsea fans.
He's at par.
No, Chelsea fans completely went in on him. They were like, "Wait, this guy is no upgrade on Jackson. Like, we bought him to upgrade."
And that's the thing with this whole Chelsea project.
We bought him to upgrade on Jackson, but
they bought,
no,
but they are not necessarily
they're buying
moving the needle.
like differentiated goods.
But I also
goods.
feel like it's early days yet. The lap has been in and out of the team. He's not really gotten an opportunity to build rhythm and momentum over time.
No, but like you're either two things. You're either like maybe a striker, like I don't use Jackson, I don't tell maybe like Firmino, where you are more involved in play and that can take away from your finishing, or you are probably like a Haaland, then I don't do anything, I'm a deadly striker, I should finish these chances. And if you're unable to be involved in play, and when you then get the chance you're unable to score, it's almost like, why are you playing as a striker? That makes sense. And I mean, it is early days. I think,
or you consider yourself like a ZXZ 9.5.
Charlie. Anybody who calls themselves that is a fraud. Like, I'm not
like,
even playing.
Yeah, I'm not necessarily noted for my goal scoring. I'm noted for more of my playmaking. So, but I score goals.
No.
So I'm traveling between the two. So I'm not a 9, I'm not a 10, but I'm 9.5. That kind of thing.
I'll confirm this, but I think Xerxes goal against Crystal Palace was first going about a year.
That was even a shocker of a goal, because I wonder how if that ball went in at the near post.
You know,
Dean Henderson,
I think he went past him before
he
he could
has all
react.
the characteristics of a striker who will be a fraud. Like, he scored on his debut. He scored on his debut as well. Like, you always need to be aware of strikers who score on their debuts. Like, flatter to deceive. tell all of us that you're going to be this big shot striker who comes in clutch for his team, and then when the going really gets tougher, we need you. I know where to be found. Anyway,
but just on Chelsea, I think it's good to have Palmer. Like Yao said, I don't get the changes for that, but it's like the same good. So they'll bring in Gittings and Garnacho have had about the same amount of impact.
You're not moving the needle. Garnacho and Gittins. Like,
but the thing is,
you bought. Numerically, you bought.
Yeah,
they are there. But quality-wise, have you really upgraded that position?
No. But the thing about the project is they can get lucky. Not lucky in a sense, because these are obviously quality players. But it can either go two ways. When they bought Palmer from Man City, a lot of us thought that they had overspent. Like, why are they spending about 40 million on a bench player for Man City? That went really well. When they bought Mikhailo Mudryk, who was also a very highly rated prospect from Shakhtar Donetsk,
he's never been good. That guy has never been good.
He went on a good run for 6 months.
Mudryk was good at Shakhtar.
Mudryk for 6 months.
Shakhtar,
I mean, even Arsenal were looking in at him as that point.
Shakhtar, he was good. At Chelsea, he's never been good.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, it's a gamble that they take on these young players that will go in for them. We'll buy them now before their value skyrockets. We'll sign them on long-term contracts. So we have as much time as we need to decide what we'll do with them, whether we'll keep them or whether we'll send them out on constantly send them out on loans. And I feel like sometimes it works out really well. Like I said, with Cole Palmer and with even Fernandes. I think Fernandes, when he came, but his was more of a World Cup tax because of how well he had played in the World Cup. I think that's why they ended up paying that amount for him. Neto too has been really positive this season, but I think if you look at his score, like how much he's actually able to contribute to play, like statistically, it's not as impressive. But I think when you watch him play, I think he contributes a lot to the team. Also interesting to point out in defense that I think he dropped Tosin.
I was about to mention he's not even part of the squad.
Tosin has been rubbish.
He's not even part of the squad.
Like, he's literally been Tosin. Like, literally.
He's not part of the squad.
Which is
Onyazi.
I don't know. Maresca too has that. He can be quite drastic when he needs to. I think you saw that with Nicholas Jackson, with Sterling too.
Have you seen Raheem Sterling this season? Do you know where Raheem Sterling is this season?
But I think it's a good thing that he did, because at some point, is my neck on the chopping block.
Facts.
And you can see, look at the mistakes that he committed in that loss to Leeds United.
I mean, I think it started with the mistake against Sunderland.
Yeah, how poor he's been over the past 2 weeks, 3 weeks. It's my neck out there. Like, coaches will come, coaches will go.
Yep.
The worst thing that can happen to you is that you get moved to, let's say, Fulham. Or you get moved to a club that is less than Chelsea, let's say Sunderland, Burnley. But you still get paid. You still be playing. But if I'm the coach, yes, I will get my compensation, but my reputation will take a hit.
Yeah.
So if I'm accommodating you keep on making mistakes. At some point, I have to act. And I think I side with Enzo Maresca on this one. Drop him.
But these are highly paid professionals who have long-term contracts. Yes. Going back to the point you made. So once you start going by the United approach, you start devaluing them slightly. Because someone like Sterling, I don't think they'd be able to get money for Sterling now based on how they treated him. But this
I'm really curious about where he lands.
I think they should get a buyout. They should just pay.
How many years? How many years?
I think 2 more years left on his contract. And about 350,000 a week.
2 more years. They should let him. They should just buy him out and let him.
He's bleeding them. Really bleeding them.
No, I mean, what's the gain from buying him out? Nothing, because you are going to do the same amount of money that you lose if he stays at the club.
What else can they do? Nobody will buy him.
I mean, no, but if he stays a year and he decides he's had enough and he goes, you don't have to pay him for 1 more year.
He won't decide he's had enough on that kind of money. How do you decide you've had enough when you're earning 350,000 pounds?
I think that he wants to play. He wants to be playing football. Semenyo should score this
1-0
onside.
No, I don't think he's offside.
No, I think if he's onside, then Antoine
Semenyo has put AFC Bournemouth up 1-0.
What Cup no?
It's Semenyo again and again and again. Chelsea are down by a goal to nil. Ghana's Antoine said, "Oh, look at that! Look at him dapping up his guy after that goal."
I
So
thought
let's see.
Evan Nilsson should have hit this first time, to be fair.
Yes.
Evan Nelson has been very
Look at
disappointing.
that first touch.
He's been very disappointing since he came to AFC Bournemouth.
No, you watch the first touch from Evan Nelson. He killed the chance. He killed all the chance. Look.
So poor. He nearly injured himself even with his first touch.
Look at that. Look at it again. Look, what a touch! It almost took the ball away from him about 10 yards.
It almost got him injured. When your first touch can get you injured, you know that you are in trouble. Anyway, it's 1-0. Antoine Semenyo pouncing on a loose ball in the box and smashing it in with his left foot.
I think they're checking the offside because Evan Nilsson looked they didn't stop to when the pass was played, but he looked like he had gone just a bit. But he could have, I don't.
Anyway,
I think he's off because the fullback.
Come on, ref.
It
Come
depends
on.
the shoulder, though. It's. But again, why aren't they just using a semi-automated technology?
I'm surprised.
Does it
Premier
still-
League. Oh, Premier League. Yeah. I don't know. They can make some decisions. It looks like we have a goal at the Hill Dickinson Stadium. Everton has scored against Nottingham Forest. It's 1-0. It's an own goal, I believe, from Milinkovic in that one. So 1-0. As we wait for the decision on this one, your thoughts on that one? Everton lead by a goal to 0.
Oh yes, they are quite a solid team at home, and it's away from that has been a little bit inconsistent. And looking at the fact that they beat United, and then they lost surprisingly to Newcastle. Then they won subsequently after that, and so yeah, they will definitely. Oh yeah, so that goal has been chopped off. Yeah, so they are riding a good momentum, and so yeah, coming up against.
You know he can't sabotage.
Yeah, easy.
I can't believe this.
I expect them to win this particular game.
So it's goalless in the Chelsea game. That Semenyo goal has been chalked off for an offside. Who was offside? Evan
Nelson, yeah.
Ah man, after poor first start. Anyway,
Yeah, so I'm not surprised they've taken the lead against Nottingham Forest, who are gradually getting their wits about them, but they are not there enough to be able to, or they are not there yet to be able to go to the Hill Dickinson Stadium and be able to grab a win over Everton. Yes, Newcastle went there and did it, but Newcastle, I think they should be doing better than, in terms of their record, they should be better than their performance, or should match their performance, considering how good or how well they play in games. They are very competitive. Every game that they play, they are very competitive, but the results are very divergent. They're away from home, terrible. Home, excellent. And that's why I say, when you look at their performance, and it doesn't necessarily correspond with their record, and they should have been a little bit higher up the standings than they are right now. And so they're moving to the Hill Dickinson Stadium and beating Everton. Yeah, it was a bit of a surprise, but it's not something that was totally outlandish. And when I look at Nottingham Forest, they don't fall in the Newcastle category or caliber. And so, I'm not surprised that Everton have taken a lead, and I expect them to win.
Quite your thoughts on that one?
On Everton, Everton have gradually with this, if they're able to hold on to the
Somebody is showing off in that Manchester City game. Who is this?
Ryan Cherky.
Oh my goodness!
Really good. Yeah.
I hope we could see that again.
I mean, his technical ability has never
He
been
316 and shimmying all over the place.
Yeah. If Everton are able to hold on to the win, I think they go up to sit in the table. At least based on the way things stand right now. And so gradually, I think with the top three almost separating themselves, we have the rest of the teams in a very mid-table. Like a lot of mid-table teams are within a shout of like the European spots, which is quite interesting. I think Palace are fifth right now. Sunderland would be fourth, and just a lot of unexpected newcomers in the challenging for Europe this season if they can maintain it. The problem I keep saying is that there's not a big gap. I think between Chelsea and the team in 10th, it's about 4 points, which means just about a win or two away from changing your position. So for Forest, they're out of the relegation zone, so I think that should be a positive for them. I think Wolves are gone. Yeah, Wolves are by this point they are definitely gone. I think I saw their next 5 fixtures. They play Man United twice, Arsenal, Brentford, and Liverpool.
Dead and buried.
And with only 2 points,
Yeah.
I wonder how dispiriting it would be for Rob Edwards to now come into this team and it seems like he's been unable to have any impact whatsoever on their form. So with them gone, I think West Ham are back in the relegation zone, but it means that Burnley and the other teams are not performing too well. So I think Forest can still have it, like Joe was saying, even though they haven't hit full stride yet, they have a bit of a buffer. They can still take about go a bit before they get results. Only problem is, unlike any other team in the bottom half, the relegation zones, they are going to be playing midweek games. They still have to be playing in the Europa League with this expanded format where it's now going up to 8 games in the group phase before they now go to the knockout. And I don't think they'll qualify directly to the knockout. It means they'll probably have to play in the playoff. And obviously, I wonder what effect that might have when every other team you're competing with has a whole week to rest. And you have to now go and compete against teams that are probably better than you, and that means you'll probably be more tired and be chasing more games constantly. And I don't think Dyche is going to be rotating his tactics too much. I think he'll try and go with his best squad for both competitions. So as much as they still have some time because of the buffer given to them by the other teams not performing well, I think that going into the season they might be more exhausted than other teams, and this would be a better time to start actually getting some results, so that later on, if you are still in the Europa League and you need to rest players, you can be resting players in the league and not be in a situation where you have 2 must-win games. You need to win this to avoid relegation, and we need to win this to stay in the competition. But for now, I think Everton are just building on really good form, and hopefully they can keep it up throughout the season. It looks like their home record is going to be the foundation for anything they do this season.
And Pep Guardiola, per what he said after the draw, I understand why Man City don't have too many fans in Ghana, and I don't think it will attract a lot of Man City fans from Ghana to the club. A lot of fans from Ghana to Man City. I mean, he said he's wishing that England end up winning the World Cup. That means what? It will be coming at our expense.
Well, I mean, we could qualify. Unless we make it,
England are so funny. I saw some stuff. I saw some stuff on TalkSport about the path England will take if they are to make the final. I'm like, you haven't even played a game. You haven't even gotten out of the group yet. What do you mean make the final? Who told you are making the final? Charlie, and the path has Brazil and France and everybody in that mix, so it's a funny.
I mean, they've done they're assuming if all the teams who, like, based on the ranking, the teams who finish
based on the path they need to take, they will make it, so they should stop it.
And just on that, I think it'll be very interesting to hear the rhetoric that'll be coming out of England, because we have been in a group with them. I think there'll be a lot of analysis by the pundits. I don't know how reflective it would be of Ghana's actual assessment, like on an international level, or whether it's just English hyperbole and slight, because they will obviously fancy themselves as favorites. I don't know how much it will affect how much they're able to assess Ghana, but I think it will also give us a chance to see at least a way, at least to Addo and the team in particular, the perspective that the rest of the world will have about our playing ability. I
still see in my head the Panama fan who was giving an assessment on Ghana. He says the Black Stars suck, and that's literally, he said that we are the key to Panama's 3 points at the World Cup. Literally, he says that he says listen, he says Croatia will be tough, and like they can probably lose. He says Luka Modric is old and Croatia will be tough, and so they can probably eke out like a draw or like a narrow defeat from Croatia, and it would be cool. They are expected to get thrashed by England, but Ghana say no. Ghana is not good, so they'll get
Alexi Lalas, the US soccer legend. He also said that before the draw, he said that give me Ghana. This is not a good Ghana team. That's what he wanted. He wanted the US to be drawn in the same group with Ghana, because he believed that this is not a Ghana team like the Ghana teams that beat or met the US in previous World Cup. Yeah. And so a lot of countries aren't scared of us. That's the thing. A lot of countries aren't scared.
No, we're falling off. That's the truth.
So despite the fact that we have quality players.
So I was making the point yesterday. If you remember the 2018 World Cup, and how excited Panama were to just be there. Panama are 30th in the world rankings right now.
It's because of the CONCACAF.
I
The
know.
region they play in.
It's what
So
it is.
it's
You play who's in front of you.
Yeah, and that's why it goes back to my point that those countries,
But
their regions are
but then
a lot of
we saw
Zuku
our
teams.
AFCON we saw our
you see-
AFCON
you
qualification.
see, we've been wishy-washy in friendlies, qualifiers. It's only the World Cup qualifiers that were decent amount
Yeah.
qualifiers. So as for the Black Stars, the jury is out on them. To be honest, they
Oh,
they need to go out there and perform. I spoke to a couple of people on their performances or on what they should expect. I was
From
hoping we could
yesterday's
play.
program?
Yeah, so Tony Bafo and there was Tony Bafo in the mix. There was Augustin Ahemfo in the mix.
Yeah.
I believe earlier Julio had spoken
I think
to
I saw
Waris.
Stego.
Julio had spoken to Waris and Ajiman Bedu. I don't know if we spoke to Prince, but we should play a few of those for you in the coming hours or days. So we'll get into that in a
Well,
bit.
so
Yeah.
what was their assessment?
think-
Was it shaky?
Not really. Tony Bafo says that there's no favorable draw really, and that if you want to be
What
the
for?
best,
There were favorable draws in it.
if
You should see the way the US are celebrating.
so what draw did they have? I've
They
forgotten
got what Paraguay. Let me refresh my page. They got Paraguay.
Well, either which ways, I don't think there's going to be any easy match in this game. In this World Cup, look, they are going to be very. There will be a few
Ben,
7-0s,
Ben.
9-0s. No, a few of them.
Group I is France, Senegal, and Norway. Then the winner of the intercontinental playoffs from the
That's
bracket
what I'm
of
saying.
Iraq,
A few of those.
Iraq and Suriname. And actually,
A few of those. No, but a few of those. I don't think there will be thrashing. So just
so wait, the US's group, Paraguay, Australia.
The
Then
US
the playoff winner of Bosnia, Slovakia,
listen. The US might not make it out of
Romania.
this group.
Oh,
You
Charlie,
might-
they will qualify for.
Have you seen them play?
They will qualify for.
Pochettino's
Yeah,
United
they are
States.
struggling,
Omo nyade.
but they will
Oh,
qualify for this.
Omo nyade. Paraguay and Australia. You're talking like you don't know Australia. See, Australia have like some sneaky names. Like you know, Australia is like that very
Yeah, football heritage.
They are
kind of
very
country.
disciplined sports country. Don't even football. Everything they are there. Swimming, Australia is there.
Oh, yeah,
Basketball, they are
rugby.
there. Rugby,
Cricket, cricket.
they are everywhere. The Australians are that nation that don't. In fact, they don't get enough flowers for how good they are at sports. Like they are
Yeah.
extremely good. They won't give you lots of star names, but best believe preparation will be on point. Players will come to play their heart out. So as for the USA, I think they need to play out of their skins to get out of that group. Paraguay in the past, I would have said, would have blown the USA away, but they have also become weak as a national team. They become shaky in recent times, but I don't think that
Group A,
I
for
don't
instance.
think that group is straightforward at all.
Group A, every team can qualify. It's not like a group of death situation, and it's not trash. It's just solid.
Yeah.
Some of the groups, they are favorable groups.
No,
in
but
there.
then again, now we're going to the round of 32. So if you get out of your group and you finish second, you are meeting one of the teams that tops the group.
Yeah.
And
Anyway,
for argument's sake, let's just say it's one of the teams from Pot A.
well, let's not even digress. Let's come back to club football. But yeah, the World Cup is interesting. I was listening to the arguments yesterday. Very interesting thoughts everywhere. But as for the Black Stars, they need to go out there and perform. That's the most important thing. Anyway, back to the Chelsea game. It's still goalless at 16 minutes played. Let's talk about Tottenham. Tottenham are in action as well against Brentford. Kudus Mohamed is in the mix with Xavi Simons, Kolomwani, and Richarlison.
0017.
Bentancur, Archie Gray, Spence, Van de Ven, Romero, Porro, Vicario, and that's the mix there. Igor Thiago probably scored today. One of those things I've come to expect. Dango Atara, Damsgaard, and Kevin Schada. That looks like a very interesting game. We should switch to that game for a bit and see what it is. Yeah, quick thoughts on that one. Spurs, I think Thomas Frank will get fired soon, but I'm not going to bank on it too yet, but I think he will get fired soon. Anyway, thoughts on that game.
Daniel Levy is no longer there.
No, but he will still get fired soon. The results will be so bad they will fire him. Anyway,
Yeah,
I mean, he
Levy is
made
no
the
longer
point that
there.
he's performing better. His start at Spurs has been better than his start at Brentford and Brøndby, the
Is it?
clubs and he managed before. So
and they are better off away from home than they are at home.
yeah.
Which is very funny. And I think it's just the fans, the atmosphere.
Speaks of a
at
team
the
that cannot
Spurs-
play in front of their fans.
Yeah, at the Spurs stadium. I think they are forced to do something.
He also made the point that it's not like just from him. Like they came from a season where they lost 17 league games. They had not won at home like a lot for a while before he came in. So it's almost like there's a carryover effect from last season, how frustrated they were with the results, and that's coming through to the season.
On top of that,
those things are tangible excuses, but I'm not buying it because you are earning your salary. Your predecessor is gone. Are you saying that you're not collecting salary because there's a carryover effect of what your predecessor has done? Come on, man.
I mean, but he's making the point that this is a team that finished 17th last season.
This is a much changed team from what his predecessor had, though.
They didn't have Kudus, they didn't have Simmons, they didn't have Kolomwani.
Yep.
They didn't have quite a number.
17. They lost 22 games, I think.
Yeah, 22 actually.
And I think the reason why they look more comfortable away from home than at home is because of the setup. Thomas Frank's setup is more defensively oriented. But when you're playing in front of your home crowd,
you are expected to dominate the ball more.
Yeah,
create more chances.
So they go a little bit out of character. And then the gaps start popping up all over the place. They concede a goal, then the heads drop, the body language gets off. Then you next thing you know, the floodgates have opened.
But we're speaking about it earlier in the season.
Yeah,
like his midfield, like initially when his midfield prevents, you'd have preferred to have Madison in there. Javi Simons has not offered him. Like he's had good games. I've seen him play well, but he has not offered a lot creatively to the team. And now he's without Madison. And so now he's been forced to either play Archie Gray or Bergval as his midfield choices. And when he realizes that these are inexperienced young players, he goes safe and goes for Palhinha, Sarr and Bentancur. And there's not a lot
very rigid.
And now it looks like Kudus has to he has to be creative from out wide. He has to go and put crosses to the box. And he's putting crosses to the box for Apache Richarlison and Matisse Tell, or like there's not a
even their front line has rotated a lot. Like today they have Kolomwani topping the line. The next time they have how do you call him? The Matisse Tell, and then the next time they have Richarlison.
Brennan Johnson.
Keep rotating.
Kolomwani's best game has been against PSG. I think
I don't know if because of his
exactly. That's what I think he's trying to. He still plays.
Technically their player.
Still technically their player. So I think he was trying to show a message that have you forgotten about me? But other than that,
we've forgotten you, son. We've clearly forgotten about you.
No, but since then he hasn't been able to be the type of player that I think for a long while, and I've had this problem with Frankfurt for a long while. They seem to sell players just when they are unable. They I think was Jovic there. They had Jovic there. Yep. Modest hasn't done a lot since he moved on. Mamouche started really well.
I have a problem with how Manchester City are using and treating Mamouche, but conversation for probably halftime or another time. I thought that he had done enough to get put into the mix. He had saved them enough to play enough minutes.
I think he should be playing ahead of Bernardo Silva.
I'm surprised by
but I think the thing is the way Pep has used him is that he's been using him a bit centrally. So when he uses Mamouche, he either plays as a striker or he plays off Haaland. And I mean, even Savinho hasn't been able to get into the team on the right.
He's no good. It's simple. He hasn't been performing.
They should have sold him to Spurs. I think Spurs puts in a 70 million.
I'm sure Spurs has been quite good when he's played. Savinho hasn't been quite good when he's played.
Are feeling like they dodged the bullet in not buying Savinho. I mean, it's not like Xavi Simons has been any better, but
no. I mean, I think Savinho. Doku hasn't done enough for me to give him this much credit, but I think that Savinho just needs a little unlocking in the sense that he's quite raw. He's quite raw.
Stop.
Savinho can beat his man.
Do you know? No, he can't. He's a drifting merchant. Like he doesn't beat his man. You drift into space. He doesn't beat his man, and then he'll be looking to either give you like an eye on the
1-2 and then get his.
I don't. You see, that's what I keep telling you. If you are a winger and you only need to play 1-2s to beat your man, you are not good. And that is the underlying. Like that's the basics of a winger. Your ability to get behind your player one-on-one. If you cannot dribble past your opponent, you have no business even being called a winger. Yeah. Like that's your basis.
If you're a winger and the moment you see a one-on-one situation, you should be smiling from ear to ear.
It's two things, right? You either have enough pace to knock the ball on and get and run past your man, or I can dribble you one-on-one if it comes to it on the take on. If you cannot do that and you need Anthony, like a
combo passing a triangle before you're able to set up.
No, you're not good. And that's been Savinho since he came.
But
to
then
them.
with that type of winger, I think you work really well with the fullback. So when you drift inside, then you have an overlapping fullback, and then you can either give a 1-2 to the person and and you get the ball back, or then you give it out to the fullback.
Quick touch and go.
So it's just about
cool
how
as
well you.
it's cool as an option to have.
Yes.
But if you want
Primarily.
to use it as your two, like your primary two, no, you can't do that. As for that, you can't do that. Like you need to be able to dribble. Like that's why modern day wingers don't really exist these days in practice. Like in theory, a lot of guys are called wingers, but a lot of them are really inside forwards. If you think about it, or forwards generally, inside forwards or false nines.
Yeah, I think you can see even with Spurs, so when they play Brennan Johnson and Kudus, those are clearly two different types of wingers who offer you two different things entirely when you are going forward. Yeah. But just like in Brennan Johnson's case,
what is Kudus even?
Kudus is a creative player.
He's an attacking midfielder.
He's an attacking midfielder. That's who he is.
I guess
he's an attacking midfielder. I mean, Kopama can also drift and play as an inverted winger. We saw that in the FIFA.
I've been trying to classify Kudus in my mind for a while.
We saw him at the FIFA Club World Cup in that game against PSG. We saw how brilliant he was playing out from the right side. Yeah. But his best position is centrally, because he's so good technically that he doesn't need too much space for him to be able to excel.
Kudus?
You don't see any similarities with the way Kudus plays and Madueke, for instance.
No, they are different. Madueke is an out-and-out winger, like a flying winger.
Yeah.
But Kudus is a technical
left wing, CAM, right wing,
through and through.
false nine, a little. He can do everything.
I feel like since Kudus has been to the Premier League at least, that's the way in which he's been utilized more.
Yeah, because he's gone into teams where they already have established guys who are running through the middle. So he goes to West Ham. It was Paqueta. Then he comes to Tottenham Hotspur. Yeah. There was James Maddison.
Simmons takes that responsibility.
Yes, and now Simmons is playing through the middle, and even Kolomani has been shifted out wide in this game that they are playing. And Richarlison is the one leading the line with Kudus on the right side as an inverted winger. So he's gone into another situation where he's not necessarily the guy that they will play him as the guy behind the striker, but that's his best position.
Yeah, he should be able to.
That's his best position.
In this Spurs team, among the forwards they have, he's the best player there, so they should stop that. I don't know what's going on with them. Kolomani and Richarlison and Xavi Simons, they're not better. None of them is better than not a single one of them. So they should use him properly. They should take the shackles off him so he can actually play his football. I don't like how Thomas Frank has been using him. I've said this a number of times. I don't know. They are burdening the boy with too many.
And sometimes he's too isolated.
Tactical instructions.
Sometimes he's too isolated on that right side.
And you can tell that they've told him not to dribble a lot when he gets the ball.
Well, no, he says like with Thomas Frank, he's been given freedom. But
like
once you beat your man and there's not a lot of options available, what do you do?
But funny thing is, they've given him freedom to do pretty much whatever he wants with the ball. But when they don't have the ball, there's a lot that is demanded of him for him to be running back, tracking back, and all those things. So yes, we're giving him a bit of freedom, and that's why I say his best position is through the middle, because you can't be a winger and not track back, especially when you are playing with Pedro Porro.
We have a goal in that game, that Spurs versus Brentford game. Richarlison has scored for Spurs, so it's 1-0. Let's see if we can switch to that game here so we can try and see if we can watch the goal sequence there. But 1-0 is that score. Richarlison getting in. Richarlison is.
I hope there's no flag for offside or when VAR reviews it, because it has become a nightmare. He scores goals and all of a sudden it's reviewed and he's chopped off.
He's such a frustrating striker to be like.
It looks like Xavi Simons got an assist.
Hey,
that's
wow. I need to see that again. Hopefully we'll come back to that.
So it's an assist for Xavi Simons. I think he made a run.
Look at that move Kudus made.
He took a run down the line and then he cut it across for Richarlison to put the ball in the net. So
Kudus should be playing to the middle. Like, the guy is gifted. There was a very difficult ball that he managed to secure a pass to his teammate.
But he doesn't get for somebody who
backflip.
For somebody who was I think they also don't use him through the middle. For somebody who is that gifted, he barely records through passes. Like his assist numbers are incredibly low.
He tries to take on players more than
when
he.
when Kudus
Just
records an assist, it's most often than not a cross.
A cross, yes.
It's barely ever like he's threading like the ball through the defense, ground pass. It's rare, which is crazy for me because he has everything to do it, like everything.
Yeah.
Passing ability, vision. I don't know. He has everything.
I think he fancies himself as a guy who can pretty much beat everyone on the pitch with his dribbling ability.
Yeah.
So it's more like, okay, let me beat all of you guys. Then I'll think of maybe assisting.
Let's see
Yeah,
where he's
but-
playing this game on the
No,
right
he's
side.
playing on the right side as an inverted winger.
I like that. I like him on the right side. He can use his left. He can shoot more, but he's not shooting as much as I'd have loved him to this season.
But
Hopefully, he shoots more.
yeah, but he plays in a team where your midfielders, your DMs or central midfielders are Ashigwe and Bentancur in this game, for instance. Those guys, if you are Kudus and you are playing on the wings and you don't drop back when you lose the ball, they won't be able to cover you. They won't be able to cover you defensively. So you'll be suspect in your organization.
What is going on in Italy? So when I gave you the first update in this game, Fiorentina were leading Sassuolo by a goal to 0. They are down by 3-1 in that game right now, and it's only 70 minutes played. So there's a lot of football still to be played. Yeah, you're making a point. Yes.
Yeah,
please finish on
yes.
that.
So I would say that, look, if you play Kudus on the right side, it's all well and good because of his inability to find passes through balls and assist when he plays through the middle. And so when he gets an assist, more often than not, it's a cross.
Yeah.
So that's an argument to keep him there. But the thing is, you are playing in a Spurs team that doesn't have Palhinha in this game, or he's been injured for a while. And your midfielders, central midfielders, are Achigwe and Bentancur. They don't have the mobility to constantly drift out wide to cover up for a guy like Kudus when he fails to track back or drop deep when they are defending. And so in that sense, the organization falls apart and it's a bad look on you, Kudus. And so I think he runs he uses up a lot of energy tracking back to ensure that the team isn't exposed down that right side.
That's Xavi Simons.
Yeah.
Charlie.
You get it. So down that right side, and it takes a little bit away from him. That's why I would rather have him. Okay,
Look
okay,
at
Kudus cross.
Just look at this. Come on, man.
Oh, I mean that's very ambitious.
Looks like,
on his
looks
weaker
like
foot.
the
too.
lap has injured himself.
Oh man. Here we go again.
Yeah, it looks like a shoulder injury.
Maggi-
So Maggi
Maggi
is
is
getting
coming
ready
on.
to come off the bench for.
Delap is having a torrid time at
Chelsea,
Chelsea.
is it a cursed
From
team or
injuries to red cards to more injuries. Oh, bruh. Anyway,
So yeah, I would prefer Kudus being played through the middle. I would prefer Kudus being played through the middle, and that I think that's the best position for him because centrally, even if you run behind him, I mean, there's only so much space that you can operate with because it's normally quite congested. But if it's out wide, yes, then there's a lot of space to be utilized. And so, in that sense, if you, from a defensive standpoint, if you play him on the wings, you expose him defensively and you expose the team.
City have gone ahead too.
Yeah.
so we have a goal
Yeah,
at
Ruben
the
Dias.
Etihad.
When was the last time you scored?
Hold on, let's see a recap of that goal so we can break it down for you. Jeremy Doku, winger, do what wingers do for me. Okay, so brings the ball in.
Really?
Let me see.
Really?
How does this
You
go?
sure?
Really?
Oh!
That's Vincent Kompany, like that goal he scored against Man United.
Oh my
Leicester.
goodness! What? Ruben Diaz.
Oh,
Oh
no,
my
deflection.
goodness!
Oh, no, I think it's swerved though.
Look,
There was a deflection.
deflection or
Slight
not,
deflection.
the audacity to take that shot.
Yes, like
That is crazy. That's like 25 yards out at least. Minimum 25 yards. Could be 30 yards even. That is a great goal. You're not saving that. Guardiola says, wow. Man. Yeah, he said.
he's licking his lips. Yeah, if he licks his lips,
We have another goal. There's another goal at St. James's Park. Newcastle have scored. Bruno Guimaraes on the score sheet. So the goals are coming in. You know what that tells you? Tired legs out there. Game. Not even tired legs out there. I would say just concentration levels.
out of the way.
Yep, out of the way as they inch towards the end of the first half. So we have seen quite a number of goals. So Newcastle lead Burnley by a goal to nil. Spurs lead Brentford by a goal to nil. and Manchester City, Ruben Diaz. What? Yeah, quick thoughts on that goal. And 1-0. Wow.
Yeah. It reminds me of that goal Vincent Kompany scored in the en route to lifting the title.
Crazy.
Yeah, a defender scoring.
The technique is crazy.
Yeah, from that distance.
What?
Yeah, it's very, very impressive. And
awesome stuff.
But to be fair, I think it could be a tactic more, because it looks like defenders are the ones who are only given time on the ball in that scenario, because they assume that there's not a lot they can do.
The teams think that you're not going to shoot. He doesn't have the technique for it, and then
and to buttress that point, Josko Vardio scored a lot of goals when he was played out as a left fullback, because he was consistently cutting in and shooting with his right foot. No one would expect a central defender who is playing out of position on the left as a left fullback, cutting onto his right foot and shoot. They will definitely back off. They will be running and trying to find where Erling Haaland is, anticipating that even if he's able to get the ball into the box with his weaker foot, it will be more like a dink into the box. So let's try and mass up close to Erling Haaland and prevent him from getting his head to the ball. Then you give him all that time and space for him to be able to adjust himself and his body and be able to bend that ball into the net.
So 1-0 it is in that game. I think there are 2-0 for Manchester City. Josko Vardio has scored. So the defenders,
they were all focusing on Erling Haaland
holding up the line. Michael Kayode with his famous towel. Hopefully he can do something for Brentford. But it's 2-0. So 2 goals in about 4 minutes for Manchester City has them cruising against Sunderland. And that's what I was telling you. All of a sudden, that point gap is down to 3 between themselves and Arsenal.
Two. It's actually 2 because Arsenal lost now. So.
Oh, they lost.
Arsenal lost.
I keep thinking that Arsenal drew that game 1-1.
Really good header though.
Actually lost that game by 2-1. So it's 2 points now. City breathing down Arsenal's neck. Look, when they get into this, that's such a textbook goal.
Proper header.
Yeah. Vardy is such a good player. He's such a good player. We need to think about him, on the Ghana level.
Croatia. He plays with Croatia.
On the Ghana level, we need to think about him.
For them, it's just, we have to worry about just 2 players. They have just 2.
Yeah, it's not
players.
true. I heard you say this yesterday, and
they have just 2 elite players. It's Vardy and Modric.
They have 2 popular players, not 2
elite
popular
players.
No,
they have just 2 elite players, which is Vardy and Modric. Aside those
how many elite players does the
Ghana have? At least we will have 2.
Who and who?
Kudus and Thomas Partey.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah. Who do we have?
No, but I don't think Croatia have 2 elite players. I'm coming. I'll pull this up in a bit.
Who is it? Livakovic. Livakovic is no elite in his position.
Relax.
Who?
He's not.
Pasalic.
Hey, if you had Livakovic in your post, like, will you be talking?
I would like it, but he's not elite. There's the difference. I would like it. I would like it that Livakovic is in the Black Stars. I mean, I'm having help.
Don't they have Mateo Kovacic?
Kovacic is injured pretty much, and he's not the same.
He's not be at the World Cup. Okay. He's still Mateo Kovacic. What are you saying? You do have a Kovacic. If you had Kovacic to partner party,
I really love it.
Exactly my point. I'm telling you.
Like I'm saying, but
don't they have Marcelo Brozovic as well? They have players who.
Brozovic.
He's from Croatia.
But
Ante Rebic.
I think he's retired.
I mean,
is he retired?
I haven't seen him play in the qualifiers for a while. So yeah, I mean, I'm having heart palpitations thinking about Benjamin Asare going up against Harry Kane. Yes, but I would love Livakovic to be in the Ghana setup.
They took the team to the World Cup final. The year they went to the final, they didn't have anybody. They just had Modric and Vardio, like I said. Everybody else was
but they had some
fringes.
Vida and
Kramaric and those are the. That's always been Croatia. Like they'll have like 2 star names and then a bunch of guys who are just technically gifted and disciplined. That's it for them. Like always, like I'm never ever going to go to a game against Croatia and say I'm not scared. They are very disciplined as a team.
Yes, the only reason why we are all fancying Croatia and scared of Croatia.
Not really scared, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, because in every football team, when you are looking at them, you are checking them out, scouting, more or less, scouting them. You look at 2 things, the materials and the coaching. Material-wise, we are fine. It's the coaching bit
We are fine in
Well,
certain
the-
areas. Certain
Ghana-
areas, there are certain areas where we are really vulnerable.
even where we are vulnerable, which is the fullback positions, we are not the most terrible in that of the lot.
The World Cup,
Really?
it's
Really?
the World Cup is your litmus
Yes.
test. That's where you really find out if
You
you are
get it.
terrible or not.
And besides, I'm talking about it, wholesome form.
When Bukayo Saka is 1-on-1 with your
Gideon
fullback,
Mensah.
you will see if you are terrible or not. That's when you will find out for real. No, I'm serious. Like
Saka
this is,
with Mensah, Madueke, and Ali
this is
Seidu.
Madueke
he will
won't
start.
start, he won't start.
If he gets to go to the World Cup, he
will
will
start.
I mean, who's on their left side?
It's
Rashford. I mean,
beyond-
it should be Rashford, Gordon, or if he doesn't want to play Eze as a 10, he play Eze out there. But I don't think Eze is.
It's Rashford and Gordon battling for that position. But beyond or behind Bukayo Saka,
Could be
it's Jared Bowen.
could be Hudson-Odoi.
and Madueke.
Yes, it's Jared Bowen and Madueke. But I think Jared Bowen will go in ahead of Madueke because Bowen works hard for the team. And you know how obsessed Tuchel is when it comes to organization.
but I feel
And
like
you need someone like that to be able to
There's
keep
a
the
counter
organization
attack I want us to keep an eye on. Spurs are breaking with a lot of intent. Kudus Mohammed deliver this cross and it's a goal. What's he wasting all that time for?
got a corner kick.
Yeah,
in the end.
I thought, what kind of jersey is this? Brentford, interesting. Always has some very interesting
You beat
kits.
him here, cross it.
I thought he
thought-
should have. No, I think.
Defender did well, actually.
He
Yeah, I think he should have. But he should have pushed.
But he should have
the
crossed it earlier.
yeah. On this man.
I don't know why he was trying to get an extra touch, but I'll get into my message box in a bit. It's the Republic of Football. And it's live on 97.3 City FM. We are live on Channel 1 TV. We are live on Twitter and X. Also live on YouTube at City Sports GH. Seth from Botiano says if Arsenal do not step up, if Arsenal don't stop this wishy-washy performances and City overtake them, I don't see them catching up again. City will be motivated beyond everyone's reach.
And interest, even if Arsenal were able to win all their games, but then they just lost to City, and then we're behind City, I think it would change the narrative entirely around Arsenal. And
as in they failed to win this league.
No, I'm just pointing out that at the point difference now, Arsenal can afford to win all their games.
Yeah.
But if they lose just to City, and City maintain the same form, City would go ahead of them.
Then it will fit
I don't
into-
think it would need that. I think at some point Arsenal will drop points and City will have a chance to get ahead of them. But all things considered, I just think that once City are in
They are
top
going
of
to
the
be
league,
they are going to be
and
tested
Arsenal are
because
second, I think it just changes the
pressure,
conversation
the
around Arsenal entirely.
the pressure that is going to appear on their heads.
People start saying third for second for fourth seasons in a row. People will start like it will.
Arteta,
It'll put a lot of pressure
Arteta there,
on
if he
him.
doesn't win the title, they need to sack him.
Yeah,
There's no two ways about it. Paul says, guys, watching the Villa versus Arsenal match, Arteta is the reason his team lost. All season, he's been playing with Eze, and today Odegaard's inclusion distorted the midfield and allowed passes from Villa through the middle. There was no reason why Eze should start from the wings when both Martinelli and Trossard are fit and both on the bench. It looks like Arsenal are destined to not win the league anytime
Yeah,
soon.
but we're making this point that how does Odegaard fit into this team? Because he needs Zubimendi to make Rice play well, and that leaves only one spot in midfield, and he has to now
play him off
choose.
the bench. Play him off the bench.
He's your captain again.
So
He's not at the Jordan level
Yeah.
where he's like old and he doesn't mind coming off the bench.
but at the end of the day, do you want to win the title? Because you have to massage the egos and manage the egos. At some point in their brilliant run at their peak, Man United had as many as 5 strikers or forwards who were all starters for their national teams. How did Alex Ferguson manage that? Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was coming off the bench at some point. Carlos Tevez was coming off the bench at some point. Rooney and Luis Saha and Co were playing together. You have to manage it. Because
fact-
at the end of the day, you need the depth to carry you throughout the entire season.
Yep, in fact.
And at some point, you will have a situation where all of them are playing well and want to play. You have to manage it, and if you can't manage it, then he can't be part of that top level.
That's just the bottom line, really. I've listened to too many championship winning coaches say the difference between a championship winning team and a team that probably comes close
Very
is that
good.
on a championship team, everybody knows their role. Like nobody gets unhappy about being benched. When you are benched, you know that you get your opportunity. There might be a game where your role might be bigger than it is in this particular game that you are enjoying. So That's why Pep Guardiola always used to be unhappy with players who were
Pouting.
unhappy or pouting on the bench. He's like, I don't care. I feel like every one of your teammates is as good as you think you are. So if I'm putting you on the bench, better smile and share your teammates.
Yeah,
on.
but I mean, Guardiola's
It's
own,
important.
like, he's able to, because of how he tactically analyzes each game, he's able to choose the squad based on the opponent and who he thinks will have a better effect in the game. Whilst in Arsenal's situation, I think he's in a position where he needs to play his best team to have he needs to play his best team in order to get results.
Yeah.
And that would imply that there's a difference between being rotated and being benched. If that makes sense. So,
Oh, what a finish!
David Simmons.
What a finish! He took the ball like 40 yards through the middle. But guys, this has become a feature in this game. I've seen Spurs run through Brentford's middle at least 3 times this first half already. Like, first time was when they went out to Kudus and then he couldn't finish it. There was a sequence before that. That is such a brilliant goal. Xavi Simons has been hearing us talk about how
You're playing
he's
him
been
in his
ineffective.
position. You're
and-
playing him as a winger in the EPL. This
Yeah.
smallish, he doesn't have speed.
Look at this
like
again.
that.
So look at this again. Takes the ball from behind in his own half. Literally runs the full length and finishes. That is such a good goal. Ah, yes.
Very good. That's a
that
way
is
to get your
That
first
is a
goal. That's
brilliant
banger.
goal. That is a
the
brilliant
Premier
goal.
League.
Yeah. So it's 2-0. Spurs lead Brentford. Xavi Simons, the Dutch international, with the goal for.
he's a quality player. It's just that they haven't been able to tactically find a system that fit him into the system that they are playing.
That's a.
I don't think his
goal.
quality has ever been in doubt.
But I think with Arteta, back to what we were saying about Arteta and Arsenal. Look, if you can manage the ego of Odegaard, then can you coach the Barcelona? No, can you coach Barcelona? Can you coach Man City?
I mean, he's a La Masia
Because
boy.
can you coach at Barcelona? And he's been linked as to Man City as a replacement for Pep Guardiola when Pep leaves. If you can't manage the ego of Martin Odegaard, and then how are you going to manage the ego at Barcelona?
I mean, I get that, but like I just said, I just think part of the reason why he's locked is the person who gives the team talk, the person who is in charge and is like the captain, the authority.
Between Declan Rice, if I'm a player and Declan Rice is giving me a pep talk and Martin Odegaard is giving me a pep talk,
No,
what do you
but
think me I'll listen to?
Odegaard,
I feel like Declan Rice will eventually become Arsenal captain.
yeah, but
It's
Odegaard is
very
the one who
obvious.
gives it now. Even if there's someone who's in a better, who is better position to do it, it's Odegaard who is giving him.
Okay, but Minty, I won't listen because it won't go in, it won't really spark me into action because I'm looking at you, Odegaard. Yeah, you are a quality player, technical player, and all that. But I'm looking at Declan Rice. I'm like, this guy was a captain at West Ham before coming here, and ever since he got here, he's been bossing it right from day one. I'll go with the guy. And on top of that, he's more available than
Well, I mean,
you,
this is
Odegaard.
Martin Odegaard, who is coming from Real Madrid. He's played with Ronaldo.
Oh, please,
and
he was cast out.
Facts.
He was cast out.
You can argue that all you want, but Real Madrid.
he did, but then when he went to Sociedad, he had good form, and I think.
In
Oh,
fact,
yeah, yeah,
no,
he
in
was
fact, they sold him as soon as he had one great season. Like when the season was great at Sociedad, they knew they could get good money for him. Quick, moved him
No,
on.
because he's not getting into that midfield.
Exactly my point. Exactly
But,
what
I mean,
saying.
he's not, and he was not going to be a player like maybe Ceballos, who is going to be content with Raheem Diaz.
As for Ceballos, he'll be gone soon.
No, but I mean, him, Brahim Diaz, they have the quality where they could have probably gone to different clubs and been
and be
starters.
starters. Yep.
But they've decided that I will be content being at Real Madrid and carrying up the bench.
The Real Madrid money is good too.
And that's what I'm saying. It's different as a club like Real Madrid and Barcelona. Just to go back to that Arteta point. When you're at Real Madrid or Barcelona, I think you are more likely to accept these things because you're at a big club. At Arsenal, if you were brought in and you were told sweet things that leave Real Madrid and winning your league titles and come to Arsenal, we have a plan for you. You will start for us. You will give you the captain's armband. You will be the head of our project. And then someone comes in, has a hot 6 months, and now I'm constantly on the bench.
You see, I want to buy into it, but I'm looking at the Man United standard. I'm looking at the Jose Mourinho standard.
Oh, but they haven't even won the league titles to even talk about meeting the standard yet. They haven't.
But if you want to win the title, those are the things that you need to apply. You need to do. Otherwise, it will crumble like today. you are sticking Eze on the right side just to accommodate Odegaard.
And the thing is, he had to make a change, and at halftime, he took Eze off instead of Odegaard.
You get it. So that's how these things can go ahead.
But that just
affect
validates the point
Yeah.
I'm making, that he realized that in that position, he'd rather take off Eze. Maybe it's also a minutes thing. Eze has played more minutes than Odegaard.
And
He's played quite a number of minutes in the last
and he brought
couple
on
of games.
Leandro Trossard. Leandro Trossard got the equalizer. You get it. And so I'm just looking at the Pep Guardiola bit at Man City, prime Pep Guardiola. I'm looking at the prime Jose Mourinho at Chelsea, Arsene Wenger at Arsenal, prime Arsene Wenger at Arsenal. Look at the juggling he had to do. At some point, there was Mark Overmars, there was Dennis Bergkamp, there was Thierry Henry. All of these guys through the middle. Who do you bench? Like, you have to juggle it. At Man United, peak form. Man United at some point had Berbatov and all these guys battling for two positions. You have to juggle it.
Well, let's take our first break here on the show. It's halftime in the games. Let me just give you a quick halftime score recap before we go for our first break. So when you look at the Premier League, this is how it breaks down. Tottenham lead Brentford by 2-0. Newcastle lead Burnley by 1-0. Manchester City up 2-0 against Sunderland. Everton are up 2-0 against Nottingham Forest. And then you have AFC Bournemouth and Chelsea locked at goalless in that game. So Milinkovic with an own goal. And I think Everton just scored not too long ago. So they have a goal scored. I believe it's Barry in that particular one. That
first goal of the season.
Yeah,
that's exciting. He got his first shot on target last week, so it looks like.
But he's going under some fire. He's another.
I mean, if him and
Charlie Onyadi.
you're too striking.
See, I've watched him play. I want to see this goal. I've watched him Onyadi.
But Everton today
No,
can score some strikers though, because Beto.
That's how I always say that. So, like, if you have dreams of being a footballer, you can see these guys. You can think it's unrealistic,
but it's realistic.
And see some of these guys be like, "Yeah, I can really make it if I have a good."
I mean,
they
both have one goal each. So
look at that wretched form. Anyway, let's take a break here on the show. This is the Republic of Football. I'm talking to Yao Jamie Time, Manuel Kwache, and Benjamin Nketia. Stay with us. We'll be right back after this break. to the Republic of Football. Benjamin Nketiah in the hot seat. Yao Jeminta and Manuel Kwache, my guys in the studio. I'm just seeing a recap of that Newcastle Bruno Guimaraes goal. He scored directly from a corner kick. That's some crazy technique. So that's how it went down, just in case you are just joining us. We are live on radio on 97.3 City FM. You can send us a text or WhatsApp message on 0549 986 996 0549 986 996. You can also head to YouTube and you can watch us on City Sports GH. Hit the like and subscribe button while you're at it. We're also live on X or Twitter. We are live on Channel 1 TV. So yes, a lot happening. Manuel, quick thoughts on the games that are on recess. Newcastle are 2-0 up. Like I said, Bruno Guimaraes scoring directly from a corner, and then they also got another goal from the penalty spot. So two dead ball type situations.
They look like they're more consistent form now. As they started the season looking like they were a bit shaky, but I think they've been able to get a consistent run of games where they've performed much better. I think they have Champions League this midweek, so they performed quite well. I think they already have 3 wins on the board in the Champions League out of the 5 games they've played. So they've lost to Barcelona and Marseille, but other than that, I think they've won all the other games. So. Yeah, I think like I said, with the Eddie Howe project, I think it all depends on what at the end of the season, what their ambitions are, if that makes sense. I think because of the money that came in, everybody assumed that at some point Newcastle would, the same way Man City did it. Obviously, they would point out to what they say. They say PSR and all these other financial fair play and all these other regulations have prevented them from being able to compete in the same way that when Man City came, they were just able to invest money. So that's what limited their progress so far. I think they've been able to back it up by winning a trophy last year, and that was really important, especially after losing a final in their first year to Eric Ten Hag's Man United. But I think, like I said, it just depends on what the next stage is for them. Is it constantly qualifying for Europe? Because now they qualify for the Champions League for 2 out of 3 seasons. Is it competing for the other trophies? Because they've been able to win the EFL Cup now. So now, for me,
next thing is the Premier League title.
Exactly. The next natural step will be competing for the Premier League title. And for that, they need to be more consistent with form. And that's where every time they hit a bad patch of form, the question starts coming as whether Eddie Howe is the guy to take them to that next level. Which I think is it's the same with Arteta and Arsenal.
What Eddie Howe does to silence that is win a Premier League title. If he wins a title, nobody can question him again. A Carabao Cup wouldn't give you that.
No, a Carabao Cup and FA Cup might not give you that.
Yeah. You need to win a title for people to say, But like I keep saying, the big name managers who can win you a title are all either regarded as quote unquote old and archaic with their football tactics. And so most of them are either out of jobs, retiring, coaching national teams now. If you want a proven, young, winning manager, they're very hard to find. Like, young, proven, winning managers are very hard to find. The few that are around already have big jobs. The few that are not taken have either not won a trophy and are just promising guys that you are going to have to take a gamble or so. Interesting. Just
just on that point, I think I was having that thought, and I'm struggling to remember offhand, but I was going through the Champions League winners, and I was just realizing Ancelotti has won it twice, Guardiola has won one, Enrique, like going through recently, these are proven champions. None of these new boys are actually in the conversation. Nope. Even in the Premier League, like Ancelotti is probably the exception to the rule. But the most recent managers to win it have been, just Guardiola and Klopp. In Spain,
Antonio Conte.
In Spain, Flick, Ancelotti, Simeone.
Yep.
The new managers,
maybe Xavi. That's why Xavi gets a lot of props.
Yeah, so Xavi and Slot are maybe the exceptions to this, and
but that's why Xavi is spoken of as one of the next brilliant young managers. Some people downplay it because it was Barca and you're probably expected to win. But Real Madrid, if competing with Real Madrid is pressure, competing with Atletico Madrid is pressure. But yeah, but these days Fabregas is getting a lot more attention.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like the new managers are there, it's just that they are not winning. At least in terms of the big honors, they haven't been able to win them yet. It's still very much the old guard who are rotating the trophies among themselves. And I think that for him in particular, given how highly regarded, I mean, before Tuchel got the job, I think there was conversations around whether Eddie Howe would be a natural progression from Gareth Southgate. Does that make sense? An English manager, but someone who probably plays more attacking football and would give them more of a chance in terms of competing for trophies.
Yeah.
But I mean, now they've gone for the proven winner in Thomas Tuchel, and I think that in itself is a very case in point of how it's okay progressing and boko, but I think at some point the club will realize that whether it works or not, like Spurs did with Conte, I think at some point you realize that we need to move on to this and try and get a proven winner.
Yeah.
So like I said, for Newcastle right now and under Eddie Howe, them picking up form now is good, but they need to be able to start, at least, if not winning, at least actively competing for. If that makes sense. And maybe gradually build towards a point where you can be in a position to win one day.
We'll see about that. Let me get you through some.
And just a quick look at Javi Simmons' start for the season. He's
1 goal, 1 assist,
all
3
today,
shots.
all today. So he's clearly today has been. He feels he's been rejuvenated.
No, his enemies will tell you that today has just been an outlier. If all season you've been poor and all of a sudden you've gotten over 50% of your positive touches or stats in one game,
100% actually. So
why would I believe you? This is not a good sample size of what you are as a player. But
no, I mean I'm not a big fan of it's the Premier League and it's different and players need time to adapt. But I think sometimes transitioning to a different team at least and trying to fit in, I think sometimes you can be allowed to take a bit of time.
Oh, it's a thing.
I like the way Klopp used to do it.
a
Klopp would sign you and then for 3 months you wouldn't see the player and you wonder whether he's still at the club. And then somehow he comes and he plays and he fits into the system.
Yeah, they are teaching you the system.
Yeah, so for him, I think he's been thrown into the deep end because of the injury to Maddison. Yeah. If Maddison had somehow been able to stay fit this season, and the length of the injury too, I think is an ACL injury, which means he's been out for the whole season. So that means most of the creative responsibility has been put on him. Yeah. And it's about time that he starts coming good for them, given the investment and the whole. I would say it's not a circus, but the whole from them going for Eze to not getting Eze and then trying to get Savino and City rejecting it to eventually landing at Leipzig. And
it's a Spurs thing, really. They do it with managers, they do it with players. They can set a target on who their first priority is, end up getting their third, fourth, fifth.
I think that's the thing. When you're competing at the top level of the market, you're competing against other. Like it depends on how you see yourself. That's why I was slightly impressed with United's recruitment this summer, because they were able to, while they weren't necessarily competing for the best players, they weren't competing for the best players in the world, they were still able to shift their weight a bit and go to teams like Wolves and Brentford and be like, we're Manchester United and we want to take your star player, and they were excited to come and play for them. Spurs are now at the stage of their development where they think they are competing with PSG and Real Madrid and Bayern for the same caliber of players. And the problem is when you are, obviously they won a trophy last season. Yeah. So that but it doesn't seem like it's helped change the perception around Spurs. I think if it's still you are one of the best players in the world and as highly rated as Javi Simmons is and sound like Eze was, I still don't think Spurs is necessarily your first option if you have offers going from any place. So most players were trying to wait and see if they could get other options. And for some players it worked out and for some it didn't. But yeah, just Spurs have been not at their best this season, which is surprising given how much they invested. And it's like even when Pochettino was doing incredibly well, he didn't get his level of support. The year after he won the Champions League final, they didn't sign any players, which I think is quite. It's almost like go and do your magic again, and that's.
It's not almost like that's exactly what it was. Go do your magic again. Like that.
He got sacked within the season, and that's when they tried to. He should be taking a touch.
I thought Semenyo should have struck that himself. Even I don't know why he gave the ball back, but Bournemouth have started the second half really lively again. just got a really good opportunity. I think that should have been 1-0.
Yeah, I think you take a touch, set it forward, and then just try and shoot across the goalkeeper.
Is that Evanilson again?
No, Tavernier. I think he put sent it back to the fullback. So I think that's on his strong foot. But
That was.
But he was asking for it back. I think if you look at Tavernier, he was clearly gesturing to him that he should give the ball back to him, and then he took the shot. And unfortunately for Bournemouth, their run of they haven't been. I think they have 5 goals in their last 5 games, and they've conceded in each game too. So they also win less in that run. So that's just
what's going on with them.
I'd say they had to shift their whole defense. If you remember, I think almost all of their back line was sold for one reason or another. Kepa at Arsenal, Hoyson, Zabani to PSG, and they've. It's the same thing with Brighton and Brentford. I saw the Brighton team, and I'll be honest, I don't know as many of the players. Like, I know them because I've seen them play in the Premier League this season. But unless you play Football Manager or FIFA and you like career mode and you grow up with these players, some of these players just like, who are these? Like, where are all the ones I know? I know Danny Welbeck up front, which is surprising because they lost João Pedro, and rather than reinvest all that money heavily, they just gone with Danny Welbeck up front.
Yeah.
But most of them have this system where it's like they can just replace, once they sell these players, they're able to replace them with similar talented players who should then go on and come good for them. And I think you see that with Bournemouth too. And while it works usually, because obviously I think it requires you to have good recruitment and scouting. And if your scouting has been, and it also requires them to have people skills. So even though it's just scouting, they also try and get a touch like how your personality is. Are you trying to improve? Do you fit well when you are in a team? So they have other measures to ensure that these players can be successes. But then, for example, with the Premier League, when you always need to win games, sometimes it's not as seamless as the teams, especially when you are constantly losing so many players. And Evanilson is good, but I don't know. And even Solanke wasn't that good, but they got 60 million for Solanke, and the idea of an investment was Evanilson. And based on what Solanke did at Bournemouth, I won't say he's been able to at least reach that level. If maybe he could be better than Solanke in terms of technical ability, he hasn't been able to replicate the goal scoring form of Solanke, and that affects the amount of goals you have in your team. So I feel like the constant chop and change means that you are unable to build towards something. Because most of the teams that we can think of that were even let's say Malaga when they had Isco and those things, most of these teams were able to build towards you get me? Like they were able to acquire a squad and then build towards something. But if you are constantly changing the squad with the hope of maintaining your same ambitions or target or going better, sometimes you are just throwing new players in who are not there from the start phase and are not used to the expectations you have of them, or at least the level of consistency you expect from them in the league season. So I think with Bournemouth just constantly rotating their squad, it makes it hard for them to always be as consistent as they can be. Same with Brentford and same with Brighton. But but so far it looks like Bournemouth are just in a sticky form. And even though they were able to start the season well because of the amount of chopping and changing, and because of the form of certain key players in the squad too.
Nearly
like
Junior
first goal. Junior Krupke came in and he was scoring for a bit. He hasn't been able to.
Semenyo is the main reason why they are not doing well. Everything they did well at the beginning of the season was tied to either an assist from him or a finish from him.
Yeah.
As soon as his numbers dried up, their points haul also dried up.
Yeah, but most managers will point and say that this is the Premier League. Like if you start and have an amazing run of form, most teams won't just be like, oh, what do we do now? They tactically analyze you. And in basketball, they say, well, they double team you. But you can have more. You can have different tactical variations to try and see how you can out. You can stop their biggest threat, especially if he is directly responsible, like you said, for most of what they were able to do well going forward. I can remember the Fulham game, if you remember that we're watching. I was here during Panorama, so they were 1-0 down, and then he scores a wonder goal, gets an assist for, I think it was for Clivett, the goal that Clivett scored from the middle, and then he wraps it up himself at the last minute with a counter attack and a good finish at the end of it. So clearly there was a lot that there are instances where most of the that's an entire result changing based on his like direct contribution to it. So obviously if he's not firing as much, it will be difficult for him. And you also see him now drifting towards different positions, trying to get more space on the field, so that when he so that when he gets the ball, he can have a bit more time. But that means that sometimes you won't be necessarily in the parts of the pitch where you'll be most effective. If that makes sense. So I think he's a good enough manager. If you remember when he came in, and Iraola, he had a very sticky spell, but he was able to overcome that.
He's one of the well-touted young managers out there, but I always think about it and say he's not won anything. But that's what I'm saying. They are banking on your potential. They're banking on sometimes your tactical consistency, your ability to turn situations around. So he also has to turn this around.
But those are two different qualities, and I think we've noticed that with like someone like Arteta, like a club building quality, like building a club from where they were to a team that can be competitive. That's a skill of a manager, and then you have the Jose Mourinho who can come into Inter for a year, win a treble, and then go to Real Madrid. Like he, I think he but and then just go to Real Madrid.
I think he was sent off in their game, their most recent game.
For Benfica.
Yeah.
That's
Jose Mourinho, big Jose Mourinho.
I'm impressed with how he's been able to go to so many different levels. I struggle to see someone like Guardiola going to Turkey.
But that's why I keep saying people. That's one of the reasons why I like Jose Mourinho as a manager, and I don't like people talking down on him. Like before Jose Mourinho had like big money to spend on anybody, he made his bones coaching an FC Porto team that nobody fancied and took them all the way to the Champions League final and won it. Like if you look at that FC Porto team, a lot of the guys who were great under Mourinho after Mourinho were not that great. Like there were a few people who went on to still had like
Deco was okay for Barca.
Deco was literally one of the main. In fact, he was their star player at the time. He went on and had an exceptional career, I think. After that, I think he went to Barca and even went to Chelsea. Yeah. But minus Deco, they are starting. I think their starting strikers was a guy called Carlos Alberto and Benedict McCarthy, and then they had another Brazilian striker called Dele. Then they had Costinha, Nuno Valente, Victor Baia. Like these were Victor Baia. I think was Portuguese #1 at the time. But Nuno Valente played for the national team too. But a lot of the guys were not like stars, like So I give Jose Mourinho a lot of credit. Like he went to AS Roma, and all of a sudden they were winning things. I think they were in almost every final or in everything significant in which they played in. When he left, they said De Rossi was doing well. What happened to De Rossi? Where's De Rossi now? Anyway, those are the thoughts. Let's get to Spain. There's a game at 5:30 between Real Betis and Barcelona. I think this is at the Benito Villamarin. Should be an interesting game. Anthony, aka Mr. One-Twos, will be in action.
I mean, he's fallen off a cliff since his loan spell. Because when he was there, it looked like he was looking like a Premier League, like he looked like one of the best players in the world again. But it looks like now that the move has been made permanent for a significantly reduced fee. Like I'm still surprised United took a loss of nearly 80 million. Yeah. They sold him to Betis for about 22 million, which is quite.
They wanted to get the salary off their hands, or just burdening to them. So they agreed to take the loss. Well, today he's a very interesting front line. They have Anthony, they have Giovanni Lo Celso, and they have a guy called Abde Samad Ezalzuli. He's a Barca product, I believe. He's a Barca academy boy. Chucho Hernandez will lead the line for them. So and then there's Pablo Fornals and Marc Roca. I know Marc Roca played for Leeds United before.
I like how Betis they go and collect like these little gems. Like they had it with Isco and then Fekir and like little players
that other teams don't like.
I mean they like
they have money. They had William Carvalho at a point.
Yeah,
I think he's still even there. Yeah, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know. Sofiane Amrabat also in the mix. Coach Nimis Amrabat in the mix. So there's that. Let me just run you through a few updates from the Premier League side of things.
I was actually interested in hearing the Barca lineup. Just on Barca too. Like I think it's like we talk about Arsenal and Man City. It's a different position from them because when let you please.
So Barca have Joan Garcia in post, Koundé, Paul Kubasi, and Gerard Martin. That centre back pairing is very sus. And then they have Alejandro Balde, Marc Casado, and Eric Garcia in the middle of the park. Rafinha, Pedri, Yamal, and Lewandowski. I don't like that midfield partnership, but hey, What do I know? It's raining heavily in that Spurs game. It's 2-0 still. Yeah.
I think some Barca fans are really critical of, I think, De Jong's performance, his recent performances. I feel like with that in particular, I feel like there was just an expectation when De Jong was signed, especially when he came from Ajax for 75 million. People thought that he was a generational talent, and he's quite good. He's incredibly good, but
generational talent, no, quite.
No, that's what I'm saying. They thought he was a generational talent, but he didn't turn out. He didn't live up to that. But he's been quite a good and effective player for Barca. Casado, Eric Garcia.
Eric Garcia is a decent player. Just playing in defensive midfield is sus. I don't know why they want to do that.
I don't like I mentioned that I don't like how he become the Sergio Roberto, and it feels like he's just been like when we need a right back, you are a right back. When we need a centre back, you are a centre back. Obviously, it takes a lot of like tactical understanding to be able to rotate and play those like that many positions.
Yeah,
but I just wonder if he would be better served as maybe if he's a centre back and then he comes on. Gerard Martin too has also been shifted out to play fullback sometimes. I think last season against was it Inter? Last season against Inter, he played as a fullback too. But just for Barca, I think it hasn't been that bad a season for them. I think they've lost 2 games the whole season to Real Madrid, and when they lost heavily to Sevilla. And even in that Sevilla game, they were in with a shout. I think at 2-1 down, Lewandowski had a penalty and he missed it. And if he had been able to score that, I think the game takes an entirely different turn. So they are now top of the table, and they won earlier this week against Atletico Madrid, and I think that put pressure on Real Madrid when they went to their game against Bilbao. But then Mbappe too has been incredibly class this season, and he's also holding Real Madrid down, even though they look inconsistent. And
Madrid look very inconsistent. They've played Elche, Valladolid, and some other team last week, and they have 3 draws. They don't have a single win from playing minnows to relegation level teams.
Yeah, but I think they've only lost 1 game this season, if I'm right, and that's to Atletico Madrid.
Doesn't matter at the point. They were almost 8 points ahead of Barca. Now Barca sits on top of them. That's what matters.
So that's the thing. If you draw 3 games and Barca are able to win, it makes him. I wouldn't say it makes it more interesting, but they have such high standards. Both teams have such high standards of themselves, because you have a manager who just recently won a domestic. He nearly won the treble with Bayer Leverkusen, coming in unbeaten.
Yeah. Talking about that, just quick one. So Bayern are playing Stuttgart. Bayern are up by 4-0 in that game. So that's just by way of update.
Yeah. So playing at Bayer Leverkusen, coming in from Bayer Leverkusen with such high I wouldn't say reputation, but he achieved incredible things with Bayer Leverkusen. He wasn't able to back it up in the next season, but he got them Champions League football, which is why they are that's why they are playing this season. So with Xabi Alonso, I get it. It's just with the number of egos in the dressing room. And I'm tired of hearing this report that the players don't like this tactics and they don't like the system, and they've been talking to they've been having their own conversations outside of what they think about Xabi Alonso, and they're not scared to let
it is Real Madrid. And these things are real at Real Madrid.
I know, and that's what I'm saying. I can clearly tell that from the ego of the players, Vinicius wouldn't be happy.
Sergio Ramos says they gave Rafa Benitez a nickname by the first 3 training sessions. They already had a nickname for him, and they knew he wasn't going to succeed.
If you remember how Rafa crumbled on the press, not crumbled, but when he was trying to have these mental mind games with Alex Ferguson, and I don't think Real Madrid is where he would be able to come to the fore. Even Guardiola, I think after his 4 year, I think Mourinho crushed him. Just mentally, I think the exhaustion of having to keep up with being Barcelona manager and having to constantly have these back and forth with Real Madrid, it was always going to be difficult. Flick looks like he's adjusted to it incredibly well, but this comes the second season where there are a lot of expectations from him, because they are the ones defending the league title. And Real Madrid too had an incredible season, and Mbappe scored so many goals, but they weren't able to back that up with actual silverware. And I think it would be disappointing if he came 2 seasons in a row and he was not able to at least help them get over the line in the league title. Because with Ronaldo, Ronaldo only had 2 league titles in his time at Real Madrid. One under Zidane and I think one under Ancelotti. But other than that, he was able to back that up with 4 Champions Leagues. with 4 Champions League, and they won 3
Crazy,
Champions
just
League
two
in a
league
row.
titles. That was just crazy every time I think about it. But
Yeah, and even the second league title, that's when Zidane came back after his spell away, and he had to not redeem himself, but like I feel like Zidane left with such high reputation that if he came back, he had to come back and prove that he was that winner.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm surprised that people think that they were like, if Xabi Alonso goes, Zidane would come back in. I don't think he would risk his
reputation.
I don't think he would risk his reputation.
Zidane will only
especially
take
at
the
this time.
Leblanc job, not taking any other job again. Waiting to become France head coach.
And he's almost there. Apparently, Deschamps might not last after the next World Cup.
After this World Cup,
He's gone.
Yeah, so,
after the next World Cup,
and he's waited quite a while because he's had his eye on this job for a
very long time.
And I think in his mind, he's just looking for redemption. So from 2006, getting his red card and losing to Italy, if he comes back as a manager and then wins the World Cup with France, it would feel like a full circle moment for him. And based on what he's
completed football, World Cup as a player, World Cup as a
manager, UCL as a player, and as a manager, especially scoring the winning goal in the UCL final and then coming back as a manager to, like he fully certifies his legacy. But just on the current Real Madrid, I think it hasn't been as bad a season. Obviously, this is Real Madrid and their standards. You can't draw 3 games in a row. You can't not be
3 games against 3 Intebe teams.
Yeah, and you have to include the loss to Liverpool in the Champions League, and they had a really tight game when they played. I think was it against Copenhagen.
Yep.
Yeah, when Mbappe.
In fact, the last game they played against was it? I think Olympiacos.
Yeah,
they played a Champions League game where the scoreline looked
Olympiacos,
very flat.
4-3. I think it was Olympiacos.
The game was far from easy. So I don't know, man. I just think
it's too soon to be talking about Alonso and his job. Like we're not even at the slot level yet.
It's never too soon at Real Madrid. Trust me. As for Real Madrid, they will fire you after 1 season. They won't waste time. They won't even say you are a son of the club. They will fire you. Like I'm serious.
What they did to Lopetegui was I always thought that was slightly unfair because they got him out of a World Cup with Spain.
Real Madrid
he got sacked.
They don't care about. They only care. You see, Real Madrid things are political. Things are tied to if somebody will be retained as president or not. Like there are a lot of moving parts, and so if you don't win, you are gambling with somebody's finances, somebody's monies that he has like pledged to banks, and there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on. Anyway, just an update. Still 2-0 between Spurs and Brentford. Xavi Simons with that wonder goal. Obviously, Richarlison scoring earlier. Then you have Newcastle leading Burnley also by 2-0. Yeah, I don't know if you saw the Guimaraes goal. Corner straight to goal.
Yeah.
Crazy stuff.
Crazy.
I think Spurs are making a change at Palhinha.
Yes.
I think Palhinha will come on for Bentancur. So that's a change from the Spurs game. Portuguese international coming on. Can strike a ball really when he gets the chance to. Manchester City also up by 2-0. So 2-0 is the signature score for the this round of matches. Everton also lead Forest by 2-0. Chelsea still drawing goalless with AFC Bournemouth. Let's get into that one a bit, and then we'll come down the other games before we head to the rest of the teams around Europe.
Yeah, I mean the Bruno Guimaraes goal, is it the Olympico? Scoring straight from a corner kick into the net, or striking the ball from a corner kick into the net and scoring from it.
So Bayern are up by 5-0 now, just by way of updates. 5-0.
No surprise
in that game against Stuttgart. Yeah,
no surprise there. We've done end of season review of the EPL. I think the past 2 seasons, and the past 2 seasons I've maintained the most underrated player in the league has been Bruno Guimaraes. It has to be Bruno Guimaraes. He can do everything.
Yep.
He can play as a DM, can play as a CM, can play as an attacking midfielder. Has boundless levels of energy.
Yep.
His motor is insane, quality-wise, technically.
Can pass,
he can
shoot.
do everything.
Yeah.
For me, he is the most underrated,
Manchester
if not
City
one
had
of the
their
most
eyes on him. I don't know what
underrated.
happened.
Yeah, if not one of the most underrated players in the EPL. I think it's the money. I mean, if you are pricing him from Newcastle, it will take a lot of money.
Yep.
Compared to what they pay to get Tijani Reinders. So yeah, you have to balance the books a little bit. I think that's the reason why they didn't go in for him. Other than that, it would have been an easy pickup. And so for me, yeah, he's one of the most underappreciated underrated players in the Premier League and scoring that. Yeah, once you score that kind of goal, I always have to look at the goalkeeper. I mean, you can't concede that kind of goal. As a professional goalkeeper playing in the best league in the world, you can't concede such a goal. So for me, yeah, that's unpardonable. You can't do that.
Philip
And
Foden.
that's a third goal.
Manchester City have
Cannot
scored.
stop scoring.
Hey, Charlie, the guy is determined not to be dropped for the World Cup. Phil Foden.
But then go drop out.
Oh, no, for
no,
Foden.
because,
go.
no, because you see what he brings to the table. Cole Palmer brings it, and then
no,
some.
no, but-
Cole Palmer's
but
not
then-
been playing for a while. Cole Palmer's been off form as well.
That's the thing.
No, you
The
see,
only
if
sliver
Foden-
of hope
see, if
or
Foden-
glimmer of hope that he has is that
Keeps going at this rate. You cannot.
And
decide to
Tuchel
ignore
is
him.
also he's trying to take different player profiles. So while Rodgers has the energy, maybe Palmer is for creativity. And he's spoken about Bellingham and Foden, especially as in having a player who plays centrally, who was like an extra threat. You get me? So he thinks Foden is more dangerous from around the set, like the box, where the arc is on the box. Operating in
And that's
that
what,
area.
like 3 goals in
And-
2 matches.
Yeah, and he thinks Bellingham could be that guy, like the crashing in the, like if there's a rebound or there's a ball in the box, someone a midfielder who can still go in and
I don't
finish
see how
the
you leave
chances.
for. I've not been a fan of his performances in the last
if
couple
I'm
of months.
Tuchel, I'll leave him out because at the end of the day, Jude Bellingham goes because he has that big game temperament. He has it more than all the midfielders that they have. He has it. Yes, the midfielders are talented, but how many of those English midfielders will start for Real Madrid and be able to play at a high level?
Yeah.
He has that big game temperament, so he will go. Then I look at Cole Palmer and Phil Foden. The only reason why Cole Palmer wouldn't go would be down to injury
after
issues.
Palmer, they will take
Palmer
him.
is
Will
going
be
now.
down to injury
I think
issues.
they're all going.
They can accommodate both of them.
I don't. Look, yeah, both are left-footed. They are pretty much similar kind of players. Technically gifted, move the ball very well in tight spaces. Not the fastest. They are the same, pretty much.
So
Pretty
now you
much
have,
the
you have injuries in the tournament as well.
Yeah,
Why
I
not
get
have-
I get that bit, but I look at Phil Foden, I look at Cole Palmer. Yeah, if you pick those two, that means you are dropping. You have to drop as on Morgan Rogers.
I don't think Gibbs White is. I mean,
Oh no,
yeah.
guess what? No, then Morgan Rogers will have to get benched because what he
Possible.
brings. He won't go because what he brings to the table, Jude Bellingham brings it. So how would he go?
We'll see where we get
So
there.
for me, Phil Foden, unless Cole Palmer, his injury issues.
But
pop
he is
up.
in better form than Palmer now.
Oh, yeah,
if,
I mean,
if it's
most
about who's
definitely.
going on the play now,
Yeah,
and I think
most
Foden,
definitely.
and the fact that he was able to make it back into the last squad he named, I think is a positive for him, at least in terms of while he's been in good form, not necessarily having to wait to the World Cup to know whether you'll be in the squad. He's been able to at least get himself back into the squad ahead of the friendlies, and he's been able to maintain his form. So I think he'll give himself. I think he has every chance of actually being the one who takes a position
Well,
when they go.
let's see how that goes.
But this Bournemouth Chelsea game, I think it has settled into that boring stretch.
Oh, they will get tired towards the end. They'll loosen up in the final 10
the
minutes.
excitement will start building
Final
up.
10-12 minutes of
Yeah.
the game, they're losing up a
Yeah, but
a
right
bit.
now it's quite tense. Scrappy play all over the place, ballooning the ball over the place.
Chelsea
And-
are a very
Like,
curious
all
team.
over the place.
And
Like,
yeah,
it's
because
not
I
a
was
good
about
watch.
to say
It's not a good
Chelsea.
watch
I
at
think their problem creating chances is that they keep constantly like their midfield is usually consistent. Usually when they have it all fit, it's Caicedo. Now he plays Reece and then Enzo. But his forward line is constantly changing. He can have João Pedro and then he can have João Pedro starting up front. Like over the last 4 Premier League games, that would mean he started 3 different strikers. I mean, he's had to play 3 different strikers.
Yeah.
Because the lap started today, but then Gui came in off the bench.
And they keep changing
And they
on the
keep
right
changing
side
their
as
wingers.
well.
That's what I'm saying. So Garnacho starts and then
Yep.
Gitten starts and
Then
then
Estevao starts some and then back to the bench. Then man.
yeah, and it's like in terms of getting some rhythm as a team when you're constantly attacking. Their defense too is also always changing. Because I mean that one, some of it is partly injury related, but some of it too is just him realizing that he's
Oh, so Chelsea
Garnacho
with
took
an
a shot, but
opportunity.
I don't think that was.
Was
He looks
decent.
different with his now that he's not blonde anymore. But
That's a decent attempt, actually. Somebody has to shoot because nobody's creating anything. So somebody has to take a shot. I mean, the goalkeeper makes a mistake and punches it back, falls into the path of a Chelsea player. You have a rebound. So I never fault players for shooters. If your shot is not very wide off the mark, but they need to do better. It's been very drab in terms of creativity. They've not created much at all.
Yeah, and I think Palmer hasn't been able to get going so far. If I can't see him on the pitch, so I think he's been taken off.
Nope.
And they've put. It looks like Gittings is playing in his position, which is, yeah. But it's just there's just a lot of inconsistency, a lot of changing. He hasn't. Estevao was on the bench. I think Enzo Maresca he said welcome to the Premier League to Estevao, which I think was a slight dig at. Oh, you think like you play 2-3 games and you're on top of the world, and then that's It was always going to be difficult. He's an 18-year-old who is now adapting to an entirely different league. I don't know if he speaks the language yet or fluently. Maybe he might understand it, but maybe he doesn't speak the language yet, and that might have an impact on when you're on the pitch, how you're able to communicate with your team.
Yeah.
It looks like João Pedro is on the pitch playing a little bit more withdrawn from Magui. So maybe he's also attempting the fact that maybe he doesn't want João Pedro as the main
João
striker.
Pedro has like a phobia for being in the box. Yes, I don't know. There's something in the box that scares him, or there's a magnet in the box that keeps him drifting around. Like, I'm serious. I don't know if you've seen him play.
He's playing with Magui today, so I think if Magui is the main striker, he can play as a 10 and play off him. Especially now that Palmer is off the pitch, it could just give them an entirely different option. But
I don't know if you guys have noticed today, but it's been Semenyo against Cucurella. Not Cucurella. Gusto for most part of the game. He was trying to cook up something there. Semenyo needs to step up. We might have a Kudus goal. Look at Kudus closing down. Wow. Never knew he could do that. Closing down, winning the ball back, and now Spurs are back in possession. Bournemouth are about to make multiple changes.
yeah, it looks like
Justin Kluivert is going off.
it looks like David Brooks is coming on. That Junior Krupke as well.
Yeah.
But yeah,
They need better movement up front. So Jimenez and Kluivert are off. Like you said,
no, I
Brooks.
think that's Adil and Brooks.
Yeah, so Adil came from Leverkusen, right?
By Leverkusen, yeah.
Interesting player.
Kolomani to looks like he's exiting without another solid performance yet for Spurs.
Without what?
Another solid performance yet for Spurs. And I don't know how, because when he signed with PSG, I think he and Goncalo Ramos were signed at the same time.
Hey, where's that?
Ramos
Charlie, that guy scored a hat-trick and they said that he'd be the next Ronaldo.
replacing Ronaldo, yeah. Oh, he's doing okay. He scored in the Super Cup final.
He's at PSG?
Still at
Yeah, he's
PSG.
still at PSG, yeah.
Still, he's been replaced by. So they had two
Ramos.
strikers, but then they ended up playing them. Enrique ended up playing with Dembele as his main forward, which should give you a. And they've sent Kolomwani on loan severally now. So he's been to Juventus. That didn't work out. He's been to Spurs now, and it looks like this is not working out as much. And it's a loan too. I think it's a loan without any option to buy or an obligation to buy. So I don't think he'll be, based on his performances so far, I don't think he'll be staying at Spurs beyond the season. I think they need to try and get Solanke fit because he's their big bet. They spent a lot of money on him to lead their forward line.
That's the problem with Spurs. They keep spending truckloads of money on average players. How are you going to spend 65 million on Dominic Solanke? Like, who does that? Anyway,
and yes, about nearly 60 million on Richarlison as well.
Look at that.
Like onto their front line, and it's like you said, it's a lot of money for players who
Truckloads of money.
who are not yet at a level that.
You know how good you need to be to cost 60 million. That's just crazy. Anyway, there's Nantes versus Lens going on. I don't know if there's Ghanaian interest there. I don't think so. Is Brandon Thomas Asante back from injury?
Arsenal, I think there's a Ghanaian in there. Nathaniel J.
But
But
one of them French boys.
no, he's Ghanaian. He's Ghanaian.
So Sassuolo ended their game with Fiorentina 3-1. Fiorentina disappointing. Took the
I think
lead.
they're still in. I think they're in a relegation zone this season.
They will be.
They've been quite.
Inter and Como have a game in the next 25 minutes.
That should be good.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the coaches.
Yeah.
Yeah, that should really be good.
Inter and Como in the mix.
Fabregas, what Fabregas would do to that, or how he will set up his team to handle that Inter midfield, Barella and company, and that front to Thuram and Lautaro Martinez. Yeah, that should be a fascinating game to watch.
There's an Athletic Bilbao versus Atletico Madrid as well. To come is Williams is
So-
he back fully?
No, per their last game, he was in the stands with some of the other injured players. Well, their last game against Real Madrid in midweek, the one Mbappe scored twice and assisted
Yeah.
Eduardo Camavinga. Yeah, he was.
So we have a third goal at the
he was in the
Etihad.
stands. Yeah.
Manchester City have scored goal number 3 at the Etihad. So Sunderland really being ripped apart.
So just on to finish up on the Italian conversation. So Fiorentina should have probably held on because that would have been their first win of the season.
Yeah.
They sit bottom of Serie A with 6 points, and like I said, they haven't been able to win a game this year, and that's they had a switch of manager. I think if I'm right, I think Vincenzo Italiano was there, and then he led them to back-to-back Conference League finals. And then now he's at Bologna, and I think he won the Coppa Italia last season. But Fiorentina haven't been able to. It looks like they haven't been able to match their form from 2 seasons ago when they were actually competing for trophies. And they have more points than Wolves. They have 6 points, which means they've drawn more games.
They have more points than Wolves.
They've drawn more games, but to be at this stage of the season, over a third through the season, and not having won a game yet, I think you start. Relegation is beckoning for them if they are unable to get their form together.
Fiorentina getting relegated will be tragic. One of the more old school teams who have been around.
I think they're one of the 7 sisters, one of the Italian. There are 7 sister clubs who compete, who at least traditionally were always competing
so the
for
2 Milan clubs,
two Milan clubs, Juventus, Roma,
Lazio,
Napoli,
and Fiorentina.
and then Fiorentina. So.
Yeah.
And these are all big teams who at least even European wise they've been competitive.
Yep.
And especially the Italian league has opened up since Juve won I think 8-9 in a row the last season with Mourinho and I said Mourinho with Sarri and Ronaldo.
Yeah.
With Sarri and Ronaldo. And then they brought in Pirlo, and Pirlo didn't work for them, and since then they haven't been able to win a league title again. But in Serie A it's been quite competitive. So Napoli have won it twice. Milan won their league title with Abramovich. Inter 2 won it with Simeone Inzaghi.
Milan look like they can win the title this season if they don't derail somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. Allegri is back there. He has the experience of winning league titles with both Juventus and with Milan. I think that they could be another team to watch out for. Roma too. It's a shame that Atalanta went for their gamble with Ivan Juric. He's already been sacked. And
I was telling somebody the other guy who last. When he moved from Sunderland and he went and did his Kamaldeen shenanigans, I was saying that this guy, good.
I mean, I'm glad he was able to take Kamaldeen with him. But
Kamaldeen didn't keep his place now. Now it's not just the manager. Okay, we have a goal. Is the stool? Is it coming out? Is it an offside?
Oh no!
That is such a dampener. Kudus thought he had scored.
Semenyo to force a good save out of Robert Sanchez.
Kudus thought he had scored.
I'm hoping he's onside.
And he had pulled out his stool. Let's see this again.
Offside. He's offside. That's just... Oh.
Whoa! Look at Mohamed Kudus. Like, forget that the goal has been disallowed. Did you see the angle he scored that from? That's insane.
I wonder if he put the stool down at away stadiums as well. If he...
Nah, you better not bring that your stool. better not bring that your stool.
You get a nice stool for the Ghana game to when we go to the World Cup, and then when we score.
Well, for marketing purposes, I think they will have it hidden somewhere. You know how America they love these kind of things.
Americans love
these kind of. They will suck up to it. Oh, trust me. I'm pretty sure they will have it back somewhere. That Kudu scores. Oh yeah, there's a chair in there somewhere. There's a stool there somewhere. That he can
let
just
him
run
do
to,
his thing.
Pull it out, let it trend. Nah,
he's off now.
They're taking him off. I don't like how Pap Matassa looked like he had hit his breakout season, ready to become a regular. All of a sudden, he's gone back to being a periphery player. I don't know what's going on there. Just thoughts on that.
I don't. I think it was because of the rejig that he was trying to find the perfect combination in midfield, and so he tried it, and I think he hit some good form early in the season with Palhinha in there as the pretty much the center focus of that midfield combo. So Palhinha sits deep, he breaks down everything.
Yeah.
Then Pape Sarr can be running all over the pitch doing his thing. But once Palhinha wasn't there, they missed out on that aspect of their game, and it pretty much affected everything. They had to bring in someone who would be able to bring something different. And once you bring it, then it's different profiles, and their inability to be able to fit properly together. And on top of that, at that time, Tottenham Hotspur were going through a bad run. That bad run has started, and so the coach or the manager was trying different things. And so, in one breath, Pape Sarr starts, and another breath he comes off the bench. And so, that's what led to he not being able to continue from that hot start that he had. But all in all, I think Palhinha, and any of their midfielders, I think that's the combo that they should be looking at moving forward. Palhinha and Pape Sarr should be staples in that midfield as starters.
I
then you can bring in maybe someone who's a bit more creative in that midfield. Let's say Xavi Simons or something.
I was about to say, I think it's the how do you call it, the domino effect of what you were talking about with Xavi Simons, and realizing that he can't be fit into the team out wide. Because he would have preferably liked to maybe play his 3 solid midfielders, and then if he had 2 better forwards, Sarr has a really good chance here. But he missed that. But if he has I would think that he would have alternated it in a way where he would play maybe he'll play his 3 solid midfielders, and then he play Xavi Simons behind them, and then play him off 2 forwards. But he seems insistent on wanting to go the front 3, and with the front 3, I think Xavi isn't able to have that same effect. So bringing him into midfield means that someone has to lose their position. Like I said, Palhinha came off the bench today too. He looks like he's back. So
we have a goal. Everton have scored a 3rd goal. KDH, you know who that is?
Wow, he's been on a really good run.
You know who that is? KDH. He says that whether you like it or not, his acronyms have come to stand. Kenan Dewsbury Hall scored a 3rd goal for Everton. Just quick thoughts on that. You're just making a point about him.
He's been on a good run. I remember that
under
goal.
Southgate, you would have had the chance to go to the World Cup. Probably.
Maybe. About Portugal, no, he's definitely not good. You can never say never, but under Tuchel, I don't see him going. Anyways, I remember that goal he scored against Man United. It was just a brilliant goal, and it showed you the kind of confidence that this guy is playing with right now. Moved the ball, ran through the middle with his left, then shifted it onto his right foot and managed to bend it into the net. And he's in good form. He's in that place where he's been played extensive minutes consistently, and he gets to be himself like he was when he was playing for Leicester City. And so, once you're playing with those kind of guys, more or less, like, I wouldn't say rejects, but players who
I mean, with Chelsea, like we said, there's no rejects. It's just players who weren't able to break into their team. Because he's one of those, like, he's not that different. Time. Yeah, he needs time, but he's not that different from Bonanotte or one of these, like, players that you said.
He's one of those guys that needs time to be able to, for you to see his value. And unfortunately, at Chelsea, they don't have that kind of time.
And some way, somehow, even if you don't play well, they make a profit on you. They made a profit selling him.
And on top of that,
really good money.
And on top of that, he's not necessarily a guy that fits the Chelsea mood, but he's a guy that fits the Everton mood. Because what he brings to the Everton, they appreciate it more than what Chelsea fans or Chelsea as a whole would. Because they believe like you must be extra but he's not that kind of guy. But what he brings to Everton, it works. And you can tell that the confidence is just oozing out of him with every touch. And this goal will just get him to be even more confident and play better for Everton. So that's a good thing going on.
So that's him doing his thing there. Or we probably call him the Declan Rice of Andre Pirlo.
But to score 3 goals in 4 games I think it's pretty good for, especially when Grealish was the one who was holding that team down in terms of goal contributions at the start of the season. So for him to come in and settle in and be able to contribute is quite good.
And it's timely because Everton, their strikers are in scoring. I mean, Barry and Beto. So
B&B.
Yeah,
B&B, they are more
Beto and Barry, they are not
sure.
scoring. So it's their midfielders who have to score. I mean, I think James Garner has also chipped in a couple of goals.
And then there's Ghana Gay with the occasional odd goal and the occasional beating of his own player. Ghana Gay.
It's also interesting to know that he went from Leicester, or teams that were blue, from Leicester to Chelsea to Everton.
Yeah,
I don't know how much of a factor that was in him signing for Everton. But like he said, I think he's fitting really there.
Yeah.
I also like the Everton approach this summer of just going for creative players. I haven't seen a lot of Tyler Morton. I mean Tyler Diblin.
Yeah,
which is a little disappointing given how highly rated he was from Southampton.
Yeah.
I thought a relegated team should not hold this over you, that you should pay this amount of money for a player who is I didn't think he was going to be in as high demand as they thought, because I felt like most of the noise of how good Tyler Diblin was coming from Southampton affiliated people who were just trying to rack up the price a little.
Yeah.
And so far it looks like he hasn't been able to have an impact on the team. But the other ones they signed, Grealish, I think they are covering a bit of Grealish's salary. If not, I don't think they'll be able to cover all.
No, they can't do that. they don't even have the tools.
I don't think they can cover all of Grealish's salary. Whether or not they want to make the move permanent will also depend on whether he's also willing to reduce his wages. Otherwise, he's coming on his
I think he will reduce his wages, and because you can tell that he's happy.
But you have the example of, we're talking about it last week, the Leeds boy, the midfielder who played Calvin Phillips.
Yeah.
If you don't have a team that is willing to match your demands, you can sit there. Maybe if you get one appearance, you scrape a trophy or a medal. He has no reason to. I mean, it's Man City. He's 29, getting to 30. I get that. He's had all the experience. He's captained his boyhood club from the Championship to the Premier League. He's you get me. He's played in the Premier League with them. Now he's gone to Man City, and he's even gone back to Everton to have that experience. Shall he stay at Man City, gather up a few racks, get some trophies?
I know.
You get me? And
it seems like the ideal thing to do.
This year, I get it. You need a World Cup. Fine.
Yeah,
go and
but
play
I
and get a
think
World Cup.
he will go back to, I'm going to just collect the racks and.
Or he would back himself to get into this team. We are competing against Savinho and Doku is better now.
By then.
Savinho came from their own team, Girona.
Yeah,
they don't have a lot of suitors out there who are willing to match their price for him at this moment.
They're not serious.
They might take him back. They might move him.
No, but in City's terms, they don't really gain any value because they are just moving him from one of their clubs to another. There's no, unless it's from just to provide and protect him from the pressure that is at Man City. But I think they'll keep him, and I think coming into that team on the left side right now, I think Doku has been in really good form. Maybe that will affect how he gets back into the team. And no one knows what can happen over the transfer window. But I think Jack Grealish, given the form he's shown at Everton this season, I think he'd back himself to go back to, if it works and he gets into the World Cup, fine. If not, I think he can go back and back himself to get back into Man City's team and be a role player. At least in City there are no starters, but he can be a big time role player for City. And like I said, win a few trophies, get paid well, end your contract, and then if you feel at the end of your contract you want to go and hang around and go to the Championship and give back to you, he can go back to Aston Villa, finish his career with Emery, and then see what happens. But
we'll see about that. But Chelsea are still labouring to score. It's 90 minutes really. 90 minutes is up in this Chelsea game. We still don't have an idea how much time added on we are playing, but it's still goalless between Chelsea and AFC Bournemouth. Game still being played with some frantic pace. Chelsea look like they want to pick up a final. Look at Cucurella and where he's gone. He's now left his defense to go orchestrate things up the field because somebody has to take things into their own hands. I wanted to make a point.
Just to quickly touch on the Liverpool game before we sign out.
Exactly.
He's robbed Mohamed Salah again in his last game before the AFCON. And
that's three games in a row.
3 games in a row, and I don't understand why he's trying to pick a battle. I don't understand why this is his focus now. Because I've made this point.
Picking a battle. He's trying to say,
Salah,
it's my head on the board if results go
fair,
bad. So
fair,
I'll sacrifice you if I have
but
to.
I think the hangover effect is 2 things. Salah goes to the AFCON. Liverpool perform really well, and then the question before he even comes back is a new soap opera. Hey, are Liverpool better without Salah? Are Liverpool better without Salah? If they go and they don't perform well, I think he'll be sacked before Salah even gets back. So it's regardless.
No, it's a double-edged sword, definitely.
Definitely.
If this benching of Salah thing, so he's produced, I think, 1 win and a draw. If it produces another defeat today, everybody looking at you like, okay,
It hasn't made a
going on?
difference.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's been average. So a win, a draw, and a loss.
And Leeds United have their eyes on the win. They say they can also get something out of Liverpool before.
Yeah, I mean they beat Chelsea.
Liverpool become a tight ship.
Yeah.
And they were close to getting a result out of Manchester City the week before. I think it was a 1-goal advantage, late Phil Foden goal to give City the win. Beat Chelsea, and then now they are at Elland Road to Liverpool, and this is a game they love playing. I mean,
and the thing is, whenever he's dropped Salah to it, he hasn't really gone for a direct winger replacement. He's just gone for an extra midfielder. So Curtis Jones has coming, so he's maintained. I think it's Gravenberg.
Hey, Charlie, guys. Everybody has been rotated in that Liverpool,
except for
Darling Boy, poster boy, franchise player.
Even Isak has been
bro,
for Getiki.
Bro,
but Gakpo will not let go of that left wing spot. And I feel like he's tried everything but Gakpo.
Chiesa is in
there.
Chiesa is not in there. Something else, man.
Chiesa is not in there.
Chiesa is not in there.
He's been benched.
What?
He's playing this vets thing where it's like,
Chiesa
I don't know if
after
saving them from conceding that second goal.
Why is Liverpool
He should have
putting
been
everybody
a staple.
through this?
well,
This guy needs to be fired.
Anyway, Jack Grealish's contract ends at the end of next season, so 2027. So once this season is done, then you have just one more season. Yeah, I think that's what what you said will be possible. Just go sit out the entire season. If they use you, fine. If they don't use you, fine. Pick up the check.
After a year,
and after a year, you become a free agent. Then you can sign and pick up more money as a free agent.
That's why I think if he means it, he should go back to either Aston Villa or go back to one of those clubs and then see if he can still. Yeah. Because I'm not sure if there'll be a big offer from a big club that's going to match your.
He's done. His
your
days of
earnings.
taking big money. Yeah,
so he was the first Premier League £100 million.
Yeah,
he can live off that.
Crazy. I wonder what the signing on fee for that kind of deal is, because if you are getting 100 million, you're getting a signing on fee probably over 10 million. Probably more. So we'll see. Anyway,
but just on Slot and Salah, I don't like the way this, and I'm worried that this is going to, like I said, become a thing that constantly goes on throughout, even when there are other things to focus on.
Like other things to focus on.
Oh no, that's what I'm saying. So we are trying to win games. Salah is on AFCON, and then we have about 2 fit defenders. If you take out Gomez, who
January is around the corner, so.
Yeah. Anyway, let me read a few messages. What kind of name is this? The guy's name is Assorted Waste Beats. It's from Gulf City. He says, cut Savinho's salary by 43% and add it to Cherky's salary. Chiesa still on the bench? Come on. This man just needs to go. We wanted an Ancelotti type, and they gave us. Okay, I'm never gonna do that. You never walk alone, regardless. That's somebody's brand they're trashing there. My guy DT inside Kolebu says, Ben, you remember when I first mentioned KDH when Chelsea was playing Man City during the City Roadshow at +233? Yeah, KDH is still not a thing. It's just you.
Yeah, we were talking about KDB.
KDH, Charlie. What? Don't do that again. Anyway, Ayuba Halilu from Kaswa says, but now in Charlie, Ayuba Halilu from Kaswa, but now in Pokwa say, very soon I'll be in Spintex. The moving target says that Chelsea. Good afternoon. I'm not happy Liam Delap is injured, but as a Chelsea fan, he's out of my team. He's not productive at all. And now Maresca can concentrate on the serious players. Isaac says, believe me, Black Stars of Ghana will qualify from Group L. Ogonos from Kaswa says, good afternoon. If Arsenal fail to win the league, the FA should demote them. They can't make fun of us. Tommy Lee says that I'm happy now. Wednesday, watch Manchester City and Real Madrid. I will not talk again. Yeah, that's a big game coming up. Let's just round up the games. Our time is almost up here, and also the 3 p.m. batch of matches are coming to
the Liverpool bit, just before we start wrapping up with the games. The Liverpool bit on Mohamed Salah. Look, I think if they can put together a good round of form, Slot will stick to it, and he will have the backing of the owners, because
I think you'll just be doing that thing where things are not going well for me, and rather than adapt, I'm going to be really stubborn and do what I think will work for me. I think it will just be another exemplification of that. Why would the owners who just gave him a new 3-year contract, they didn't want to extend his contract? Salah was talking the whole season. I don't know if they will keep him. I don't know if they will keep him.
In fact, I think that is the big elephant in the room, because The owners didn't want to give him that money
because
and now your form has dropped off right after we gave you the money.
Because they are American owners, and you know how they run their sports leagues. They always want to. Always want to ship you off a year before you go bad. They always want to ship you off a year before you go bad. And the hesitancy that preceded they extending Van Dijk and Mohamed Salah's contract, per what we've seen so far,
that's why
it makes them look so good. This is why they were hesitating.
I was telling somebody that's why Hughes and what's his name, the other guy, Edwards are still at post, because I think for John W. Henry, those guys will have to come forward and say, you know what, sir, I don't think this slot project will work anymore. But the two of them have spent a lot of time taking credit for Jurgen Klopp's success, that they, after going to buy all these players, if they come and tell him that this thing won't work, plus they probably negotiated that Salah deal, gave him all that money. So now, if you go and say that,
I mean, but Salah was never going to increase his contract without going upwards.
That's what I'm saying. So either which ways, if they go and make that claim, it's like
no. But now
the two of you, your decision making is questionable.
Yeah, but now
a lot of teams have fired their sporting directors recently.
Yeah,
like Arsenal have let their guy go. Monchi has been let go
by Aston Villa.
Like there's a lot of moving around in those.
But
areas,
then now you have the alternative where they say they won't give Salah the contract. He goes to Saudi Arabia. He looks like he's having really good form, and then Liverpool are struggling.
Liverpool could have collected 100 million from him. It would have been justified.
I mentioned this point last season.
No, but that's when his contract was expiring last season. It was a season before that
they were ready to give him
either which ways, even if they got 80 million from Salah, that's a truckload of money for a player north of 30. I mean, come on.
The form he was in last season, at least the first half of last season.
No, the form. Nobody's even questioning the form. But I'm saying that Salah is in the kind of situation where if you get a big money offer for him and you don't take it, you might not get that money again.
I said this last season, and people thought I was crazy.
No, that's the truth.
Liverpool, take the money, let him move.
You might never get that money again,
because at the end of the day, you are not getting that money, and it's diminishing returns. These days, he's not scoring, and it's compounding the problem that he's
from the end of last season.
Yeah, even before last season, and it's compounding the problem that he's had over the past 2 seasons, where because of his diminishing physicality, he's not able to track back and help out defensively. So there's always a gaping hole down that side.
Well, I have news for you. So when you look at the table is taking very interesting shape. Very interesting shape. Look, let me go through the scores real quick, and then I'll give you an idea of the table. So Chelsea's game has ended goalless.
Boring game.
Everton 3, Forest 0. Man City 3, Sunderland 0. Sunderland picked up a red card in that game as well. Newcastle 2, Burnley 0. That game is in its final stages. Spurs have won 2-0. The Liverpool leads to come. But when you look at the table, the Premier League table, that is, which is a live table, Arsenal top 33, Manchester City second, 31 points. City have won 4 of their last 5 matches. Their next game is what is tricky. They play Crystal Palace. That's a difficult game. But Aston Villa are third. Villa have won their last 5 Premier League games. 5 in a row. 5 wins to get to where they are. So they are not playing around. Really good form. Chelsea are 4th. Everton are 5th on the table. They have 3 wins in their last 5 as well. So Everton doing really good on a sneaky side. Palace have fallen out to 7th Sunderland, 8th Spurs, 9th Brighton, and 10th Newcastle. It's all really crowded in that space. One win can propel you to greater heights. Well, Burnley have gotten 1 back in their game against Newcastle, so it's 2-1.
Yeah, I mean, like we said, all the way down to Liverpool. It's just 3 points all the way from.
I like the way you are fighting for Liverpool.
Chelsea are title contenders. Liverpool are 3 points behind Chelsea, even though they have been disastrous.
Which is why Man United fans are so frustrated, because per the way it has shaped up, if they had picked up a win in midweek, and pick up a win tomorrow,
you'll be top 4.
They will be top 4.
Facts.
It's there. It's what they're taking. But they are messing up.
So that's what it is. So when you go lower table, United are 11th, Liverpool 12th, Bournemouth 13th, 14th Brentford, 15th Fulham, 16th Forest, 17th Leeds, 18th West Ham, 19th Burnley, and 20th Wolves. So that's how it is with the matches that have been played today. That's our show. really today. Benjamin Nketia, you had Manuel Kwachi and Yao Jemita. Thanks to Daniel Squashe for Hans in the studio, and all of you guys for sending in messages, and also shout outs to our YouTube community. Same time tomorrow, we'll be back on your screens with the Republic of Football. Until then, keep your dial right here. Keep doing the listening.